forevermore. You are the Alpha and Omega. We give you praise and adore you. You are the Alpha and Omega. We give you praise forevermore. You are the greatest and the highest. I worship you and bow to you. You are the greatest, the highest. I worship you and bow to you. Oh, when I call you, you answer me. In everything as you fall, I will give you all the praises. Worship you and adore you. You are the Alpha and Omega. We give you praise and adore you. You are the Alpha and Omega. We give you praise forever. You are the Alpha and Omega.
All right, folks, so we want to welcome you to this broadcast. As usual, I'm Alphonso Zean of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. Today is Thursday, and all things considered, as usual, is always it comes your way regularly on Thursday here from the New England Bureau of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. Stay tuned. We're going to get this conversation going very shortly. All right, that's Minister Winter Rose right there making a contribution from today's program here to Alphonso and Sort of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. Thank you for sharing your Thursday afternoon with us. You're in Liberia, right here in the USA as usual. We always welcome you here to this official news outlet. And today, a lot been unfolding in Liberia. We're keeping track. We hope to get reaction from ordinary Liberians, Grenadians on the political take. Appointment stands. We should be then speaking with the superintendent of Grand Jida County, Superintendent Kai Fallet. I hope to join us here if it still remains and constant. Just 5 minutes ago, we had a chat, and I saw I'm still holding constant. But at the same time, we're going to be getting your take here as ordinary Liberians and Grenadians exactly what has happened. And we hopefully to join Abutori. We want to welcome our own Moses of the Liberia Public Radio, national correspondent based in Mount Gibi County, that's the Republic of Liberia. So we want to welcome Mr. Ato Dweji Senion, says the Chief Magistrate of any seat of Grand Jida County, as well Station Manager, Night Crapo, as well as Annex 8, the man dancing with Jesus, Manzolat Gisi, all here. Let's see, we'll try as much as possible. I will be speaking with the Secretary General, the aspirant for the former ruling party of Liberia, that's the Unity Party, Amos Tweh. There's a rendezvous here today. Will be joining me right here on the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV, right on top of the hour. And of course, as usual, we will be getting reaction from you, the listeners and viewers, on the political event in Liberia. This seems to be the prelude of 2023, but there has been a diverse and dissenting view on the what has happened, and we are already start getting some statement from senatorial aspiring of Grand Jida County. We try to reach out to them, try to also get their take. We have a special statement, a brief audio here from one of the senatorial aspiring. We managed to also reach out to former Foreign Minister Thomas Yaya Nimlen, who is currently in the provincial cities of Grand Jida, that is Zwedru. I spoke with him. We tried to reach Honorable Zoe Emmanuel Penon, Dr. Bollet, all of the principal players to get their response up to press time coming on air. we did not get anything. But hopefully, we will bring that as it unfolds. And of course, we're going to be getting your own take. I am Alphonso Zean, sort of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. All things considered right here, right now, coming your way. Stay tuned. I will see again for one more time if we can hopefully connect with the superintendent. He promised to be here to get an official statement. And that's why we want to keep the new proportionate. We just don't want to run with it as much it was broadcast. Our folks on ground. We all saw the images since 3 o'clock U.S. time. Everybody been monitoring, and but we want to make sure and get an official statement. Let me take a break if it is possible. We can try to connect with the superintendent of Grand County. At the same time, still waiting for my guest. Hopefully, Mr. Tweh will be speaking to that. I'm Alphonso Zean, sort of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. Stay tuned. I will be right back.
Diaspora informative news platform Liberia Public Radio LPR presents Freedom Watch with Alphonso Zean. On Freedom Watch, we hold national leaders, opposition, and the general public accountable for words by asking tough questions in exchange for real-time answers. No one walks away free by providing false information. If it's from LPR and Zean, it got to be good. Be my guest every Sunday live on LPR TV from the New England Bureau of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV.
Alphonso Zean, for the Liberia Public Radio based in the U.S. I currently visit the entire. Thank you, Mr.
Okay, let me see here. Joining me now is the superintendent of Grand County. Superintendent Kai Fale is on the line from the provincial city of Zwedo. Amos Superintendent, good evening.
Yeah, good evening to my good citizens of Grand County as well as in the diaspora.
All right. Okay, thank you so much, Amos Superintendent, for answering our call. Yeah, so quickly here, how is Zwedo so far?
Well, Zwedo is calm, Zwedo is peaceful, so everybody that moving about a normal business here is Zwedo.
When you say Zwedo is car is peaceful, well, we saw a lot of images coming from the provincial city where the ANC and Armbot Yeke Koluba apparently there was a disruption into their political rally. What actually happened?
Well, again, since the incident of the COVID-19 crisis started to been having the cops a series of tours in our respected 8 administrative district. So this morning, about 3 days ago, I left for the Putu belt, where I aired until this morning by 3 to 4 a.m. when I arrived in Zwedo. While I arrived in Zwedo, I got a call from the deputy police commanders of Grand County. And he told me by between 4:20 to 5 a.m. this morning, he called me and he told me that he got an intent that Honorable Yeke Koluba and Honorable Zana Kumi, the ANC political leader, is in Zwedo. So you're asking me to find out from me what I was aware of it or what I have any information concerning about that. And I told you, well, I don't have any information concerning about that, what it is in Zwedo now. But I want you to find out and give me the update later to know what they are here. Between 7:30 to 8 o'clock in the morning, they called me again. Say, yeah, the information that I provided to you, Chief, is true, and they are here in precedence at the B2 guest house. another minutes ago, he called me and said, well, there's a huge crowd because you're headed there to make sure, he provides some security for them. On his way there, he called me and said, Chief, there's a huge crowd around the B2 guest house for the angry citizens, and they asking Yeke Kodoba to leave. In that process, he called me and I told him, well, I just woke up from bed. I'm on my way there to make sure that we can get things under control. When I got there, along with the deputy police commander, I met with the Cummings, I met with Yeke Kolobas, and I gave them a hug, I gave them a welcome. And in that process, the police commander were able to, the police commanders in charge were able to give, also give us the first information on that. And in that, he also told us that, well, they are here on the tour, and basically they don't know what's happening. And also I asked them, well, we are here in the country, of course, we don't know. And we're not told you're coming, we're not informed concern, but you're coming. So again, we are on obligation to make sure that we provide safety so any political leader or any of the citizens that is passing through our counties. In that process, we met with Kolobas here, I spoke, we met with Cummings, we talked. In that process, the deputy police commander who is in charge president now because his boss is in Morovia, told us in the presence of Honorable Cummings, he said that he advised because the strength of the police is not sufficient and the angry crowds and the streets is more, so he advised that since they have a less manpower, those manpower can provide a safest route for Honorable Cummings and delegate to leave so he can cause chaos. In that process, you were asked because all of us around the table. So the president of the asked me, said, well, Honorable Superintendent, you being the head of the country, this is what the police, the security advice. So I said, we are security based in the aspect, you know, that these are the people that will depend on for our safety. All of you, I do I'm the head of the country. So based on the advice that they provide to, I think it's something that put them that we need to go back to make sure that we have a safety because it's our responsibility. So in that process, I have no option but to cooperate with them so we can give a safe passage. Coming Gary said, well, it's a disappointment there. The student also speak that if I say so, get another opposite view to make sure that we can have meeting with our citizens. So as well in the process that all we can do to make sure that we provide security and have a meeting with the people here, say the guests will have a little conference room they can have a meeting with the people. But to say going to a city hall or another public places, I think it would not be good with an angry crowd there. And then as with me, I'm not a security personnel and the security advisor with their own expertise they have. While we're talking about coming on, got up and said that well, a company will leave to go because company was ready to go. Company will leave to go, he will not go. And he will not go. Then between other son, other saying that will not go for all to repeat on the public radio station. And he said that in fact he also forcibly open the gate and between the change while we're in the room along with the police car and I would with the political leaders. In that process, we got a call. So the deputy or the commander called me and said, Chief, you guys go outside, forcibly open the gate and go outside here. Angry car that Chichi was in that process, we will go outside. They were Chichi of stone. So our forces managed to be able to penetrate through one of the doors. I came outside and went back to the angry car and also asked them to calm down. In that process, we were able to manage to calm them down. While I got a call from the Amos chief of staff. I said, what is the situation? What can we do to make sure that we stay the calm? So I asked him because of the less manpower and information provided to me by the joint security. I asked that he also be on the street from the AFS side to be able to make sure that we can have situation. In that process, we respond to all the AFS command count the situation. And in that process, as soon as the situation comes, almost minutes, and come here in Interrise left for Nima County, so that where we are.
Superintendent, thank you so much for honoring our invitation to be here. But let me just ask you this question: Is it a tradition that political leaders, it's a campaign time? Do they need to have like a consent from county officials before coming in?
It's not an issue that they need to have our approval before coming in, but also it's a tradition whenever a politician or a citizen or a permanent citizen, most especially while we get closer to the political process of our midterm election, it also puts us in love with the cordial working relationship we have with all the political leaders who do the same. Where he live from okay, all superintendent, Gantas, I'll be living on Ganta hopes as the head of the county just to pay a college call. Maybe just to say that I'm in your county. Let us know in case of anything. These are if you are not informed, everyone come informed ahead of time or his departure is dedicated, and the security can be on top of things. But whoever there's somebody listening here, they came in the counties at the end of the day, the security are not fully prepared in terms of running services. So the communication is something that we achieve a model political leaders, senators, representatives, all so that on the way, in fact, the Cesar Bridge, we got to talk to security, let them pass that with the county, so that your county, just to say, okay, chief, you're welcome, okay, I'm passing through, just to know in the case of anything, any assistance or anything that we can do for you as a county authority, we call. If you enter Grand Julia County, it's the sole responsibility of the county authority, that is now to provide safety. So it's our responsibility on our law. Yesterday, I'm the vice chair of the president. The president has a responsibility to provide security for all citizens. So being the vice chair of the county, any citizen or political leader, any ordinary party, he can be a wheelbarrow county. It's also our responsibility to make sure to provide security. But it comes or come is something that we never welcome or come is something that we don't. And though it was surprising, it's something that took us as a surprise. That what I'm going to say was something that end with the corner working message because you cannot have a crowd like that. You cannot have a private security. You got to let us know. They will let our security know. ABC political party or somebody is coming in the county and we will make sure that we get the president all deep cross and end up for the free party or maybe security party. It be some influential party, a political leader. Somebody have provide presence, so you need to be told make sure that you provide so you know some security for him and why you be our county.
So, Honorable Superintendent, I guess Mr. Tweh, I will be coming to you. Thank you so much for joining me here. But who have you established the identities of those people who asked the political leaders and the sitting lawmaker to leave Grand Jide? This has been breeding. We have been hearing that Koloba will not be allowed in Grand Jide, and we saw that unfolding. So, who are those that carry on that act today? Any identity established?
Well, I cannot speak to that. What is the identities of those people are the only person that can also give me the information. And the information have not been coming. I've not been updated, but the security of the county is the security. They have on the fee, they have the expertise, they have know how to make sure they identify those people that was involved or the regular one. But as far as we're concerned, as far as we are speaking to you now, I've not get any information concerning why the rest have been made. Or what somebody have been trying to pick up concerning what the incident that happened today. I've not been officially told about that.
They said that the all people from the opposition bloc will they not be welcome in Grand Jide. Is that the indications? Is that what we are hearing now?
Opposition, what I can be a ruling party, what I can be other states is our responsibility. And all couldn't be the happy father, no political leaders of our country, or somebody that was coming to the country that I need to where you come, so you choose to come that way, but somebody that was be a word to make sure that we give all due currency. Whether you're on opposition, whether you're part of the unity party, it's our responsibility as the government to provide security for you. And that's why we are saying that while our TR references to us as a county superintendent.
Is this action here? Is it?
We are not against anybody. We are not saying that gradually there's a free place, there's a peaceful place. The all political leaders that they come here hosting a meeting, with that supporters, the city hall, the youth center, all the public spaces. Sometimes they give them the option, when we give them the place free to make sure that they have interaction with that the supporter or their family members. So it's something that we handle is our culture against so. But again, we are not saying no political leader because everybody have the right to everybody have the constitutional right to come and go anyhow. Everybody has the right to make and free assemble. So against we are not saying no political leader any opposition can come. We are government with obligation to protect any citizen or other political leader who choose to come to graduate county under our administration.
Is this action politically motivated, Honorable Superintendent?
Hello?
Yeah, is the action political?
Well, I just it's not a political. It's not a political. It's not a political action. As I said again, it's the anti-crowd as though they are racist. We have been talking to them. We condemn the act that's happened today because we all obligated to make sure that we provide free speech for each and every citizen of Nigeria, each and every citizen of Republic of Liberia, including our communities, the United States of that place, including our Yaka Kolaba. So what happened today at the county authorities and held the county and that of the gradually. And we also look forward to our security to do their investigation and bring the findings to all that we'll speak on a later day.
So, why, Honorable Superintendent, as you know, the senatorial election has engulfed the entire 15 political subdivision. Up to this point in time, you are the chief executive of Grangida County, and I'm hearing from you there's no breathing up to this town. How concerned you are with this? Don't you think that the opposition will see this as the county official facilitating this sort of ploy against the opposition?
Well, as I said again, we are government when we will not be in the habit, we will not be living in a glass or and throw stone. We on obligation to protect life and properties. We on obligation to make sure that everybody has a free package. And Grangida, that is center for life people. We also have the mandate. And our TR give us the medal to make sure that we provide safety. So I don't think somebody will be under the threat that all of our political parties leaders have been coming here. They have scores of meetings. Why
so then why if they have been coming there? Yeah, Honorable Superintendent, if they have been coming there, why these people were not disrupted? Why it should be Yeke Koluba and Alexander Cummings?
Now, what we said against that we should give our security a chance to do that investigation and bring the findings to us. We'll speak on the findings. We will speak on the findings for the investigation of the security. The security have given full responsibility of that to make sure they conduct the investigation and bring the findings. And that findings come up with something that will not then will be stuff all under the carpet. We'll speak to that. We'll have a press conference to also update our people in Liberia and Dallas in the diaspora.
I heard you saying that the Ministry of National Defense, they were the one that called in, you said?
Again, as I said, we'll have a call today with the Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of Liberia in terms of buttering the efforts about joint security in the manpower. So they were able to get also because we know we have an AFL here in the Grangida County as a Zane, but they cannot leave, they cannot do anything on their own until they get authorization. So based on our advice, based on our own conversation that we have with the Chief of Staff, they all butcher the effort of the joint security to put the situation under control.
So the Chief of Staff did not provide the alternative, the manpower that came for the same manpower to facilitate this rally to go ahead as planned by this group of people, but they, instead they asked the Honorable Man and Alexander Cummings of ANC to leave. Was that his proposal?
Well, I cannot speak to that because the Chief of Staff against he had the Chief of Staff, he controls those men, and what we need for to do to make sure that the life and properties of coming delegation and himself, we could set the properties to be protected, and that what we do on our TR to provide the safety. They gave the issues of what are the AFL Chief of Staff, gave the mandate to amend them to have the people have the rallies. That was the prayer we are telling how many people can speak to that.
When you talk about investigation, who is conducting this investigation? Is that a national government or is it a county leadership?
Well, against the county leadership is now going. We have our secretary who also conducted a professional job today. So also make sure that while they conducted their other issue, I think that they need to make a report, the finance, and when that finance council said again, we will not be sitting on the carpet. We will let the whole world know concern about the finance and everything that's recommended from that. I think we'll also make a recommendation to our media bosses on that.
I'm quite sure, Honorable Superintendent, you are aware that Yeke Koluba is a sitting lawmaker. Since his forcibly departure from Grangida from Zwedu, have you spoken with him?
Well, Yeke is my friend. As you all know, Yeke married to a crown woman, the late Honorable Joyce, who was Tweh, the former speaker of the and the wife daughter. So, in our own tradition, Tweh is our in-law, who holds in high esteem. I know Yeke for a couple of years. That has been my very good, he's still my very good friend. And we have a good interaction today before this incident took place.
Yeah, my question is, since its departure, but I can make an educated guess, Mr. Superintendent, that the lawmaker was not happy to leave Grangida, like you alluded, which is true. He's married to a daughter of Grangida, and I don't think that reception was accorded to him today. Did you call him since his departure?
Well, yes, I placed couple of calls on Oyeka, but I think that they are out of network areas where we're sending a lot of couples of text to him. I hope that you get a text to respond to mine, or respond to the text that I sent to him.
As the president of the Republic of Liberia, has they reached out to the county leadership to get a first-hand information as to what are happening?
Well, we have a change of comments in our government structures. Where my boss and media's boss is the Minister of Internal Affairs. So I also make sure on a daily basis to give me updates. He also have the we also based on that in the press video we will talk to His Excellencies on the issue. So it's a change of comment in terms of our reporting system.
When you talk about investigation, how do we when do we hope to get a first-hand updates on this investigation?
Well, until we can meet the security, because the security is comprised of the joint security comprises all lands and ministers, all heads of security. So I don't know how soon will this report be given to us, and because if they give it to us, it's something that we also need to and file it to our immediate boss of that. So we don't know how soon, whether it'll be a day, whether it'll be 2, whether it'll be 3, whether it'll be a week. We don't know until we can get a briefing for them. But we'll pray, hopefully, that as soon as possible, we'll get us report. We'll let the populace know or see the report. What are the recommendations I'll send the report?
How damaging is this development here? History can recall this is the second time in the history of Grand Gide that Dr. Tipotet and Abba Billy, this happened way back when Billy ordered then Tipotet to forcibly leave the country. Here we are in the 21st century. Oppositions and ordinary people will see it as a wish on that, in fact, Grand Gideons, there were some who were saying that Yaka Koluba will not be welcome in Grand Gide.
Well, again, I think it's a man gossip because I listen to all of callers, I listen to all of social media who are posting that a couple of times when Yeke was trying to make his tours, were also sales on air or were alleged allegation made against me that I said it on public radio, which of course I challenge each and everyone to ever bring evidence to that I asked Yeke not to come to ground, which of course is far from being true. Against, as I said again, we are waiting for the security to do that job. We don't go to West Sense in making that report. We don't want to give them the time frame. They have their own time frame. They're going to as fast as soon as possible. We'll plead with them to make sure they have that investigation done as soon as possible to give us. And as soon as that fund is made, we'll let the public know.
We'll let the public know. The armored vehicle was vandalized. No culprit, nobody was apprehended. That's the weird thing about it. So nobody, no suspect at all.
Again, I will not speak to that issue by a vehicle being vandalized, because when I was at the premises or where they were stopping at B2 or guest house, there's no evidence. So I've not seen I've never saw that vehicle damage. Probably it may be damaged. I don't know. I still to be corrected, but I'm not on the scene. How the vehicle damaged, what part of the vehicles are damaged. And I said again, we are waiting for the report of the security people. As soon as the report comes, we'll speak to that report. But the issue of the vehicle being damaged, where the part of the vehicle that got damaged, we don't know. And I don't want to speak to something that I don't know about until I can get a report from the security.
Are you disappointed of the action?
Well, again, to condemn the actions of some of our citizens, to condemn the action, we are government, we should be about it, we should be there in the position to protect life and property. So we condemn the actions and send a appeal today. Our lawmaker also have the press coming today, also condemn that. So as a local authority, we speak to all the social media, the radio stations, our locals, and other ERBs, our national radio, other people condemn the act. And we say that as countries also condemn the act.
Are you saying any opposition moving forward, are they welcome in Grand Gide, including even Yeke Kaluba, if he intends to go back there?
Precisely, we are not against opposition. Opposition are all Liberians, and we'll make sure that we protect Liberians. If that is of being a Liberian, he is a Liberian and also giving the due. So what happened today, we said we got the incident. As a head of the contest, we apologize on behalf of our citizens.
The actions, are they supporters of the ruling party? Were they the ones disrupted the rally today?
Well, I cannot speak to that because nobody have the parties, local or the parties and or T-shirt to say, yeah, they are partisan, they are angry, or citizens. We will speak to that, they are angry citizens. Whether they are from the Liberty Party, whether they are from the Unity Party, whether they are from the Unity Party, we don't know, but they are angry citizens of Grand Gide County.
When you say angry citizens, what was the basis of them being angry?
Education from the security, and we'll let you know in the next couple of days.
Supposing later, do you think it is the insult or the manner in which he Yeke Koluba talks about the president? Do you think is that what they were responding to?
Well, again, I said we are waiting for the funding from the security that will in the next couple of days will let you know what the fundings are.
That seems to be yes to my question.
I cannot say yes, I cannot say no to your questions. I don't know what the angry citizen, where the anger came from. And I'm saying we are waiting for the investigation from the security. Whatever information we get, we'll let you know in a couple of days.
Our correspondent were also the on-scene, Honorable Superintendent, and they said you were one of the person that asked the lawmaker to leave the county because it was unsafe. Is that true?
What information is far from being true? I just made it clarity to you what how our conversation started and how they ended. So if anybody think that as we gave that method or instruction to our citizens, let them produce the evidence.
Okay. All right. That's the voice of Honorable Superintendent of Grand Jida County, Kai Fale, is on the line from the provincial state of Zouadro. So how is situation in Zouadro so far? You can tell us before we let you go.
Well, Zouadro is peaceful. Zouadro is kind of like money by normal business. The sun is getting started. We have the sun day, rain and sun ain't no mix today. But again, we want to get God the glory. Now we are peaceful and graduate is going right back to our normal business. So what do we know? Things is going good here. So we try to thank God. Thank you for everybody.
Are you worried in the senatorial election coming? Are we going to see tensions of something of similar like this? Will you beef up the security system in Zouadro?
Well, again, we assure you as a head of the county, there will be no rivalry between our candidates in Grand Jida County, both especially in terms of midterm election. The other election will come along. We are the head of the counties here. We can assure you there will be a peaceful, free, fair, and transparent election come December 8, 2020.
Is Grand Jida County moving to the far left that only Grand Jida can belong to the ruling party? Is that what we are going to, or what?
Well, we don't say Grand Jida belong to the ruling party. We cannot say that 12 years ago, Grand Jida was not part of the ruling party. Grand Jida consistently voted for the CDC's CDC-led parties until down they are the ruling party. So Grand Jida has been consistent. And Grand Jida was some of the opposition counties in terms of the 12 years on our Malasari.
Okay. What, Honorable Superintendent, do you have a final word? We keep following this development, and I really appreciate the time taken here to have this conversation here. Do you have a final word for us before you leave?
Well, again, I wanted to thank you for having me on your show, and I wanted to thank you to our people in the diaspora. Grand Jida is where our common denominator. If you, as a citizen of Grand Jida counties, and something is happening in Grand Jida counties in the diaspora, like what you did, you have the right to call the office of the county or any citizen to give you the information. Because something happening, the image of Grand Jida is the image that everybody have to cover, because you will be a crime person until God calls you. So we are obligation to protect the image of our country. But our brothers and sisters who are in the diaspora, most especially the people, probably they be opposition, but Grand Jida, they cannot be opposition to your own country. So the best thing that we can do is to protect the image of our country. And the best thing that you can do as people who live in the diaspora, our brothers and sisters that live in the diaspora, make sure that you get accurate information from the rightful person of Grand Jida, because our image of the country is very important, and that's the only thing that we have to protect. So I want to urge you to please use the media as you use it always to get to all to give you the clear understanding as the country is what's unfolding here. But not to based on rumors or something on social media, wasn't somebody tell you who are also against us, because we are crown people. The only place that we can protect, the only image that we can protect is the image of Grand Jida and the image of crown people. We are a law-abiding people. We're not a violent people. We know our character as people of crown people. Crown people, we all know our own character. Our character is to make sure that we live in peace. So anything that you hear is best thing that we can do is to make sure that you place call to some of us as a leader of the country to give you the clear picture of it. That's the only way we can make sure that Grand Jida is a better place. I wanted to thank you for providing me the audience. I wanted to thank you to our brothers and sisters in the diaspora who are following this show. But please make it your duty to make sure that we are on our obligation, no matter what you find yourself, no matter the political party, of Grand Jida image, and Grand Jida is bigger than all, and we're on our obligation to protect this image of our great country. Thank you so much for providing me from this platform.
All right, that's the voice of Superintendent Kai Fale this evening from the provincial state of Zouadro, Grand Jida County, Republic of Liberia. Honorable Superintendent, thank you so much.
Thank you, my brother, and thank you for having me on your show.
All right. Okay, let me come here. My guest is here. Mr. Amos Tweh is here. Our own mic down is in main studio in Morovia. Let me see here. I'm not sure what's going on here. Folks, just bear with me here a little bit here. To make some adjustment here. Our own mic down is also in Morovia. There, let me welcome my special guest, Mr. Amos Tweh, is contesting for the Secretary General positions of the former ruling party, that's the Unity Party of the Republic of Liberia. Mr. Tweh, are you there? Mr. Tweh, are you there? Oh, okay. Having some network problem there. Mike down, are you hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing loud and clear, Mr. So. How are you? Good afternoon from your end. It's late. It's getting a bit late here. 6:24 p.m. here in Morovia. And let me just say that the Council of Patriots has just released a statement condemning today's fracas in Zoeju City, Grand Jide County. So that's the latest on the situation that occurred today in Grand Jide County. Council of Patriots condemn it. They say it is unacceptable to have attacked an opposition or lawmaker. So they vehemently condemn that. They just released a statement not too long ago, condemning the incident today in Grand Jide County. So that's what they've been. That's the latest about the incident here. But Yaka Koluba, according to our correspondent in Nimba, has just arrived in Nimba, Mr. Alexander Benedict Cummins and Dala for Yeke. They all have just arrived in Nimba County. And upon their arrival, they were wholeheartedly received by people there, according to what our correspondents have been saying.
Okay, Mike, hold on 1 second. Our special guest is here. Let me bring in Mr. Tweh. Mr. Tweh, are you hearing me now? Mr. Amos Tweh, are you hearing me?
Yeah, I think. Sure, I'm hearing you.
Okay,
Yes,
all right.
hello, I'm hearing you, Alphonso.
Okay, thank you for joining us here. As a matter of fact, we have this rendezvous. Thank you so much for being here. That's the game of politics. The unexpected always comes in here, and it seems that you are here right in time to talk on some of these harsh issues here. But let me give you the opportunity to introduce yourself to our listening audience, and we'll get down to the issue. Can you introduce yourself briefly?
Well, sure. I want to say thank you very much. Yeah, sure. Thank you so very kindly for this platform. I'm very honored by the organization. Let me say thanks to my colleague over there, George Lobo, and to the rest of our partisans viewing this platform. I'm happy to be on this airwave today, basically to discuss my vision for the UP Secretariat and, of course, on other issues of national concern. My name is Amos, and I happen to be a son of the Unity Party. I grew up into the UP. I'm from the southeastern region, particularly River G. And I was born here, Montserrado. And I have a BA in sociology from the African Methodist Episcopal University and government. I also hold 2 postgraduate certificates, one in financial management from Duke University, United States of America, and another one in renewable rural energy from the Nanchang College of Foreign Studies, People's Republic of China. And I also hold a Master's of Science in Planning and Project Management from Birmingham City University, United Kingdom. Of course, I've got about 20 years, 15 to 16 years of public and private sector experience. I have served the government of Liberia as Assistant Minister and Deputy Minister for Urban Affairs, Ministry of Internal Affairs. I have also served as a policy analyst at the Governance Commission, and I have served as a manager for planning, project, policy, compliance at the Liberia Petroleum Refining Corporation. I have served as a co-founder for a youth-led organization called the Youth Education Foundation Initiative, YEFI. So I've come as a youth development practitioner and a politician. almost 21 years in the business of politics. I joined the UP officially in 1999. Of course, I have started affiliating with the Unity Party as far back as 1997. Unfortunately, we didn't reach the voting age at that time. So in 1998-99, I formalized my membership with the UP, and my first post, my first task in the Unity Party was to serve as district youth coordinator of the Unity Party. Of course, at that time, it was constituency number 10, as far as the Gabriel Johnson Stockard Bridge to Tweh Farm, those of you who understand Brujo Island better. So from 2005, serving as district youth coordinator, I serve as Secretary General for the Youth Secretariat under the dynamic leadership of senior comrade and brother Hassan Kezulu in the Youth Secretariat from 2009 to 2010. And of course, due to the kinds of work that we did and the efforts we applied to make the UP very viable across communities, I was overwhelmingly elected as National Youth Leader of the Unity Party in 2010. So I served as youth leader for the UP from 2010 up to 2016. By the way, in the Unity Party structure, a youth leader is equivalent to a vice chairman position. So I served that capacity very well. And besides that, I have been able to coordinate several other programs and presided over many primaries across the country. So I am a diehard, a loyal and committed soldier of the Unity Party. Of course, we have stood the test of time in the UP. On a number of occasions, we've taken decisions in the supreme interest of the Unity Party. I have always said at the peril of our own personal happiness, because when I formalized my membership of the Unity Party officially in 1999, I thought that it was my fundamental responsibility, after having studied the value system of the UP, the philosophy and the founding principle of the Unity Party, it was my responsibility to be a part of a team that will help contribute to the consolidation of the country's democracy, and at the same time to strengthening the political system of the country, and ultimately helping to build a viable governance architecture so that it is much more responsive to the shared needs of the people of Liberia. So all throughout my years in the UP, I've always been focusing on remaining loyal and very committed to the value system of the Unity Party. Of course, in 2017, I served as Deputy National Campaign Spokesperson for the JNB campaign team in the 2017 elections. And thereafter, we, of course, found ourselves in opposition. So right now, the party finds itself at a critical juncture that requires, a whole host of review of its internal policies, matching up with the current political circumstances, and how we can be able to collectively reposition ourselves as a party to gain the respect and admiration that the Liberian people need, so that we remain very responsive to their needs, and at the same time, to position ourselves in a way where we can contribute to the building of our democracy and to making the CPP that the UP finds herself a part of very viable, and to prepare it for the 2020 special senatorial election and the 2023 general and presidential election. So the UP is going for a mini convention. I have thrown my heart in the race to contest as National Secretary General position. Just to digress a little bit, in 2016, when I gave up the position of National Youth Leader, I was the consensus candidate for the position of National Secretary General. And the reason why I became the consensus candidate is because of our hard work, our demonstration of commitment and loyalty to the Unity Party over the period under review. But again, the elders of the Unity Party, partisans of the party, thought that the fact that we were moving into the 2017 elections and that there was a need for a broad-based cooperation amongst or between the outgoing leadership and the incoming leadership. So there was a need for us to establish a platform that allows for the participation of everybody. So I was asked by the elders of the UP to resign my ambition to contest the National Secretary General position. And of course, as a humble young man, a respected soldier of the UP, a committed soldier, I resigned my ambition and allow That's when, Eugene Nangbe, the current Minister of Information, Cultural Affairs, and Tourism of the Republic of Liberia, became the National Secretary General. So this is an unexpired term of the very Eugene Nangbe, who, was elected. Of course, he had to resign due to some other circumstances that I want to come back to finish. That's why our partisans across the Republic of Liberia feel that it is important for me to serve in this position to help bring life to the Secretariat of the Unity Party so that we can ensure effective communications, and redefining the strategic objective of the UP. I know we will go into some of the details later on, but so obviously that's why I'm here. And I want to say thank you so very kindly for, inviting me on this your platform. I'm happy. Thank you.
Okay, there you have it. What is extensive intro there from Minister of Government with Governance, Mr. Tweh. I want to first thank you first and foremost for honoring our invitation to be here this.
Thank you. No problem. I mean, I look forward to coming here all the time.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for joining us here this afternoon. What a impressive intro and all of your achievements here. Okay, we're going to get to the main issue here, but they get a saying that saying when it is hot, that's when you try to get that iron bent so that it will get the wiggle. Let me get your quick, immediate reactions. We are in the political field. The presidential is 2023 is ahead. Prelude to that is this consequential May 10th, December 8th elections. Let me get your quick, immediate reaction to what happens today in Grangide.
So slow.
Are you there? Are you hearing me, Mr. Tweh?
I'm on. It's just that I didn't actually get your question. If you ask any question, I didn't get it. All right. Because the network is actually very slow.
Yeah, that's Liberia. That's the beauty of Liberia too. But quickly, I say, let me just get quickly to your reaction to the political incident that occurred today in Grangide, Republic of Liberia. So what's your own immediate reaction from the opposition side?
Oh yes, I mean, yeah, sure. I know that the CPP will most likely come up with a position, but it's really disappointing. What happened today in Grangide is totally unacceptable. It is not within the realm of the democracy and the peace and stability that all of us are protecting. And I'm particularly disappointed in the superintendent. If you will see your WhatsApp page right now, I send you a video. The superintendent pre-planned or orchestrated that particular incident or that attack, vicious attack on Honorable Alexander Cummings and Mr. Honorable Yaka Koluba today. And we want to say that this is something that was pre-planned by Gola Fale and the CDC to begin intimidating political leaders, beginning with Alex Kumi and Yaka Koluba. And the UP reject that. For the most part, the opposition community clearly detests such an attempt on the part of the government of Liberia to begin engaging in actions that clearly undermine the peace and stability of our country. So this is something that is entirely unacceptable. When you see that video, the superintendent of Grangide went particularly in the B2 guest house to Alex Kumi early this morning to tell him to vacate from Grangide, that the people of Grangide never wanted to see him Cummings and Yaka Koluba. So that video, the special assistant to Honorable Cummings was attempting to video clip the particular statement from Gola Fale. That's when you saw his reaction. So this is entirely unacceptable. It is an attempt to undermine the peace and stability of the nation. And this incident just came on the heels of a threatening comment by the CDC chairman, Mobile Molu. He's also in the sub-region, or probably he's just left from the sub-region. Mobile Molu went in the sub-region and told the people, particularly local government officials and members of the opposition community, that they will, he used a particular word, that they will deconstruct the ability of opposition members to participate in any process that has to do with strengthening our democracy. So a chairman of a party makes that kind of statement. Days later, the superintendent of Maryland County came up the platform and indicated that they are going to utilize security forces, the police, the AFL, the BRN, to their advantage at the detriment of the peace and stability of the country. And this is the very reason why, just today, when the incident occurred, in the full glare of the security apparatus of our country, the windshield of the vehicles owned by Yeke Kodoba and Honorable Alexander Cummings were burst or crashed by the CDC-led talks. And no arrest, as we speak, no arrest has been carried out by the government of Liberia. But then when you see that it was actually systematic, and it was actually planned and viciously hatched to either kill Yeke Kodoba or wounded Honorable Alexander Cummings as part of the intimidation tactics that is being planned by the CDC ahead of the 2020 special senatorial election and the 2023 general and presidential election. And these things are being done just few days after we have observed Liberia's 173rd independence anniversary, where the independent orator clearly cautioned the government of Liberia to be mindful about how she proceeds with the issues of governance in the country. And thereafter, the statement made by the orator, the president came up and promised to ensure that he he focused on addressing some of the recommendations by the orator. So is the president or the government suggesting to the people of Liberia and the world society that the things that were clearly indicated by the orator, they passed through on the one side of the ear and flew on the other side, that the president has a particular inordinate motive, that the government has a particular inordinate desire to continue to intimidate opposition community, opposition members, harass them, intimidate them, embarrass them, and for the most part, scare them out of the democratic process of the nation. Is this the peace and stability that all of us want to collectively protect as a nation? Or is the president suggesting to us that we do not have our inalienable rights protected, our personal freedom protected, our personal rights protected, to defend ourselves, or for the most part, for the government to defend the citizens of this country? Are we not a part of the broader community of Liberians in the Republic of Liberia? And are we not going to enjoy the laws and the constitution of Liberia, our inalienable rights, that there is no free movement of people because we are in the opposition community? So this is an intimidation tactics, and this was actually planned, orchestrated, and viciously hashed by the CDC. And unfortunately, Gola Fale, who happens to be the superintendent of Grand Jide, was the mastermind in the execution of that vicious plan against Honorable Alexander Cummings and Yeke Kodoba. And they all entouraged the visitor to the Southeastern region. So we are disappointed. But at the same time, it is important to stress here to you and the people of Liberia that the CPP is cognizant of the attempt and the plan by the government of Liberia to intimidate us, to, for the most part, attack some of us and even kill us. So we are going to defend ourselves. We have a plan to defend ourselves. That the government of Liberia no longer have the capacity to protect the opposition community. That's exactly what we saw in Grand Jide today.
When you say you're going to defend yourself, how are you going to do that?
By any means possible. If you realize that your government can no longer protect you, your government can no longer defend you, that your government has made you so vulnerable, that your government is viciously planning against you because you find yourself in the opposition community, you are left with no option but to draw the attention of the international community. The second thing is to draw the attention of the religious community of the country and the people of Liberia, and for the most part to be on a self-defense. So when we talk about self-defense, we will defend ourselves in a way where we will not tolerate people killing us or people intimidating us, people scaring us out of the country, because we should not exercise our inalienable rights that when you differ with the government's programs and policies, you are considered enemy of the state, that the chairman of the CDC will go in the southeastern region and intimidate local government officials, threaten them, that if they do not join the CDC or support the CDC candidates, they will be dismissed, they will be fired, which grossly violate or flout the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia. That in the same vein, one of the vice jurors of the president of Liberia, the superintendent of Maryland, will step to the podium and say that they were going to utilize the AFL, utilize the police, utilize all of the security apparatus institutions in the country to their personal advantage and at the detriment of the opposition community. What does that suggest to you? That we are completely vulnerable, that there's no protection for us. So this is alarming, and it's absolutely disappointing.
Were you guys been carrying guns now in self-defense?
No, we don't believe in taking guns. We know that this country has gone through more than 14 years of vitriolic conflict that killed thousands of our people.
What sort of material will be used for self-defense? Because the police will be having their arm, and I guess if you might be carrying something of a material like in self-defense, correct?
I mean, in all the kind of political circumstances, when you are self-defending yourself, it's not necessarily that you got to take gun. We do not believe in toting guns, because we know that toting guns is a very sharp reminder of Liberia almost forgetting that past. So we don't believe in going back to the bush. God forbid.
Do you think this is a political ploy on the part from the ruling party against the opposition?
I have just indicated that to you. It's a political ploy, and the reason why it's a political ploy is initiated by the CDC. It's initiated by the CDC. It's planned by the CDC hierarchies, and it's executed by local government officials, particularly Kai Golafale, who is a member of the CDC. If Golafale can enter the hotel room of Alexandra Cummings and tell Cummings, you got to leave this country now, the people don't want to see you here. What that means? You are aiding and abetting the visual attack against our opposition members. What?
Do you think the president of the Republic of Liberia is aware of what is happening?
Just recently, when I think few young colleagues, young Liberians went and I think put tires on the streets, and as part of their protest, when the government was attempting to increase or to hike tariff, surcharge, on internet calls and so on. In less than 30 minutes, the government of Liberia came up with a press release. In less than 30 minutes, the government of Liberia arrested few individuals. I'm coming to that. In less than 30 minutes, the government put that particular situation under control. They arrested people. They came up with a press statement. Up to this time, from this morning up to as we speak, the government has not come up with any official position, either condemning that or suggesting to the people of Liberia that they have arrested the perpetrators. And when you witness KMTV, I'm sure your reporter was there. He reported live. There were young people, CDC. Huh?
Yeah, that's it. The reporters were there. We had it live as well.
CDC talks went and threatened Yaka Koluba live on KMTV that they would kill him, that they will intimidate him, that they will move him away from the county. In the presence, in the full glare of security of the entire security apparatus of the country, then you expect us to believe that it's actually not planned by the CDC. So this is something that was entirely orchestrated by the CDC. It was viciously hashed by Golafale, the superintendent. He was only pretending, and he is only pretending from time to time. That every statement he uttered here, they are a complete disappointment. You understand? They are done under the circumstances of pretend. They're intended to smoke screen There are dark room dealings against the opposition community, and this is something that we will not tolerate. This is something that we will not continue to accept. We have to peacefully coexist in this country. All of us are aware of Liberia's dark, forgetting past. You don't want us to go back to that history. You don't want us to go back to that dark memories, that terrible memories of 1985. You don't want us to continue to think that the people of Grand Jide that are so decent to the best of our knowledge, that Grand Jide is going to be used to fuse tribal conflict in this country. You don't want us to think that way. We know that the people of Grand Jide are so decent. So it is unfortunate that the CDC will attempt to use Grand Jide as a breeding ground to fuse tribal conflict in the Republic of Liberia. And just few days after, President Weah stood on the podium to commit himself to protecting the rights of the people and upholding the peace and stability of the nation. That kinds of things occur. What do you expect us to believe? Who do you expect us to believe? And what do you expect us to do as opposition members? Obviously, to go on the self-defense and at the same time call the attention of the international community. That's what we can say to you here. Thank you.
So the question was, do you think the president of the Republic of Liberia is acknowledged or is aware of today's event?
What we can say to you is that CDC is aware of it. The hierarchies of CDCs are aware of it. So most likely the president could be aware of it.
Yeah. And also
you understand?
help to facilitate this, correct?
Well, we are saying to you that the vice juror of the president, the superintendent of the president, facilitated the vicious attack on Arizona Cummings. The vice juror. That man has the president's direct contact.
We'll soon pivot to the conversation here. I just wanted to get your reaction as someone who's seeking the executive post here for that. But there are other critics on the other side, the honorable representative. And let me just get it crystal clear here. I am not in support in terms of how he articulate, how he get his message as well. That does not even give anybody the right to say, oh, because he speaks this way, so he cannot enter this certain part of Liberia. Has the opposition come to the point where they have also approached Yeke Koluba, Representative Yeke Koluba, and all of others who have been using the sort of profanity against the president, even though the Constitution is not sanctioning anybody here? But do you guys see that as some sort of not being on to message, or is that how you're going to wage his campaign?
The opposition has a message. The opposition do not tolerate any insult on national leaders, not only the president. We don't tolerate that. Obviously, everyone has his own, her own style of engaging the process, especially so when you realize that the system of the day is not adhering to recommendations
all of them have been doing that, and all of
some of the things that
the opposition, but you guys have not spoken against it. Is that fair?
No, we have called out people. We have reprimanded our partisans who engage in actions that clearly violate or contravene the strategic objective or the value system of the opposition community, particularly the CPP. The CPP has done that on numerous of occasions. So this is not something that we can tolerate. We're not going to tolerate any viciousness, any insults on the presidency or on leaders of this country. As much as we cannot tolerate that on our leaders, we will not tolerate that on other leaders. But the truth is that this does not in any way suggest that what happened in Grand Jide is right. Correct. If the people feel that, let's face it. President Weah is from Grand Cru. The people of Grand Cru wholeheartedly welcome Yeke Koluba and Honorable Alexander Cummings. The people of Sando did the same. Of course, River G did the same. Maryland did the same. Why Grand Jide? Why Grand Jide? That's the question we should ask ourselves. Why Grand Jide? President Weah is from Grand Cru. Why Grand Jide? Is Grand Jide suggesting at the few talks led by Gola Fade, the superintendent, suggesting that they want to use Grand Jide as a territory to fuse tribal conflict in the country, to reintroduce tribal conflict in the country? This is something that we are entirely against. It's unacceptable. We will not tolerate it. As a matter of fact, we know that the people of Grand Jide are decent, they are hospitable, they are remarkable, and Of course, they are all patriotic Liberians. But it's so unfortunate that few young thugs will allow themselves to be used by CDC, to achieve their parochial interests, which is entirely against the peace and stability of the nation.
Okay, I want you to keep focused here, but we have been placing phone calls, talking to people of different interest groups. We start getting the first reaction from some of the senatorial experience from Grand County, based in the USA. Spoke with one also in the provincial senate of Grand former foreign minister Thomas Yaya Nimley. But this is the statement, this is a brief audio that I received from Mr. William Yano, who happens to be the former president of the Grand Association. I want you to listen to this and your reaction, and then we're going to get to your positions where your tiger is going in your political career. But I want you to listen to this.
Good afternoon, my fellow Grandidians. This is William Yano. I just read this morning on the online situation that occurred in Zwedru between Representative Yeke Koluba and a group of, I understand, young people who are demanding that he should leave Zwedru. I understand, in fact, some of his vehicles were damaged. If this is true, and I'm saying if this is true, I've seen, in fact, some images online. If this is true, then this is not correct. Liberia is a free country. And I think we should allow, or the law allows, all Liberians to travel freely in Liberia. We in Grand Jide are kind and hospitable people. We don't engage in violence because of political disagreements. And I think this incident that is being reported, if it is true, it doesn't cast us in good light. People must be free to come to our county and to our towns, even people with whom we disagree. So I think this is something that we have to rethink, that this is not characteristic of our people. We cannot stop people from coming to Grand Jide because we disagree with them or because we disagree with their view. This is just unacceptable. And I think the county authorities need to do something about this, because in this hiding political season, we must not scare people away from Grand Jide. People must be free to come and express their view, as long as they don't cause violence, they don't touch anybody, they don't incite violence. The authority needs to look into this matter and make sure those who are responsible for any damage are brought to book. Grand Jide cannot be known as a place where people will be brutalized or harassed because of their political view. I pray that this incident will be taken seriously and that something will be done about it in accordance with the laws of our country. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Are you there, Mr. Tweh?
Yeah, sure, I'm here. And I think, eminent citizens of Grand Jide are speaking out. This is the reason why we're not convinced that it is the entire Grand Jide. We know that there are decent people from Grand Jide. It's just few group of people, that have allowed themselves to be used by CDC to achieve, the intimidation tactics on the opposition community. We also saw a statement from the son of the former president, Honorable, the late Doe. We also just read the statement from the Grand Jide Legislative Caucus condemning, the violent and very vicious attack on Honorable Cummings and Yeke Koluba. We welcome all of those statements. We think they are in, the right direction, but we want them to take additional steps to ensure that, that incident does not reoccur. Because the more it does, the more Liberia is probably going to continue to slide down the line. We're already seeing signals of those. So we just want to urge the eminent citizens of Grand Jide to take the appropriate actions We welcome the different statements that they are making, but we want you to take additional steps to caution, the young colleagues, the young folks in Grand Jide to stop the kinds of barbaric actions. Liberia is for all of us. We got to peacefully coexist. The only way this country will be developed is when we engage in actions with unity of purpose as citizens of the country. So we can't continue to segregate amongst ourselves and use a particular territory to fuel tribal conflict. All of us are aware of the fact that Liberia is divided on a number of critical lines, and of course, religious, tribal, economics, regional, etc. So in this manner, we want to urge the eminent citizens of Grand Jide to take additional steps, whether they are in the diaspora, whether it is the Grand Jide Legislative Caucus, whether it is the chiefs, the Ozo, the elder people, the elderly community in Grand Jide, take additional steps. You don't have to sit down supinely until the violence occur, until it reach a disproportionate level before you start to take steps. The truth is that CDC wants to undermine the peace and stability of the country. We're already beginning to see the signals. Some of you who followed the incidents in district number 13, you saw it. You saw what happened. You also saw what happened with Taylor Urey in district number 15. So these different pockets of violence, when they culminate into a bigger violence, they could lead to an overly explosive situation in the country. And at the end of the day, it is the people of Liberia that will bear the consequences, the repercussion. We don't want to reach to that level. As members of the opposition community, our task, our responsibility is to continue to maturely hold this government feet to the fire. And for the most part, areas that they are deviating, it is our responsibility to call them out, even though the president continues to unabatedly call us enemy of the state. And this is also being said by the chairperson of the CDC and other local government officials, like Kai Fale, who clearly led that visual attack today. I sent you the video, you witness it. I mean, it's so unfortunate. How can you, as superintendent, go down there, and tell Alexander Kumi, vacate the county? You got to leave the county quick. The people don't want to see you. I thought you should be the one to ensure calm, to ensure orderliness in the city, in the county. But rather, you've gone to serve as aider and abater in this whole process. It's unfortunate. It's unacceptable. And of course, the opposition is going to take additional steps to defend itself. Of course, not in a manner that will bring violence in the country, not in a manner that will bring war in the country, God forbid. We believe in protecting the peace and stability of the nation. But when the government does wrong, it is our responsibility to point that out. Thank you.
Okay, well, I'm Alphonso Zean, so of the Liberia Public Radio. We're going to be back after this quick hit, and we're going to get right to the issue. I'm having today Mr. Amos Tweh. He's the expiring Secretary General of the Fomonta ruling party, that's the Unity Party convention soon to be here. I'm Alphonso Zean, so stay tuned. I will be right back. All right, there you have it. For those of you joining this live pack here, we earlier spoke with the superintendent of Grand Jide County. We reached out to him this morning. He agreed to appear, and he did appear here this afternoon, and is telling us investigations will get underway. But in the meanwhile, no one here has been apprehended as the result of the political tensions that led to the vandalism of Honorable Coluba's vehicle. My own man, Mike Dan, is in main studio. Team Morovia is also there, who did an excellent job with the live streaming. But let us try to pivot here and come to Mr. Tweh, political quest for the Unity Party. And Mike, don't hesitate to come in anytime you have question here. Okay, let's change the ball here. There was a rare meat also released by Henry Costa. I'm intend not to go there. I will address that. I want you to get to your point as to why you want to be Secretary General of Unity Party. Okay, so let's get to your political joining or maritime. In the next coming days, your party will be having a convention. Yeah. How do you intend to do it differently than those that are there? Is that a generational change we are talking about?
Going to do that.
Mr. Tweh?
Well, Well, sure, but I'm one person who actually don't believe in this whole concept of generational change. I believe in the concept of generational integration that allows for a bigger platform to be established for the participation of the older generation, the younger generation, the middle age, so that way we can, ensure that there's transfer of knowledge from the old folks to the younger generation, so that way we can be able to take over with the experience, with the requisite education and understanding of the complexity of issues that we're going to be faced with. Just to respond to that briefly. On the question of what do we want to be Secretary General, I mean, it's crystal clear. I've just outlined my political participation, my political sojourn. Unity Party is my very first political party, and I'm hoping that it can remain the last political party, given the struggles that we have gone through with the UP. I believe in the value system of the Unity Party, even though we are in opposition. I think it reached a juncture that requires people with the requisite institutional knowledge to take over the secretariat of the UP, because the secretariat of any political party is the engine room on which the party moves. So right now, the party finds itself in opposition. What do we need to do to make sure that we're able to draw from all of the different sectors of the nation? I have served before as national youth leader of the Unity Party. Before occupying that position, I became a youth development worker for this country for a few years, working across the different slum communities. So that's why across the country, I'm known. This is one advantage that I have. In addition to that, the Unity Party needs people right now who are very committed to the value system of the UP. You don't just want to put people into position at the end of the day when the push comes to shove, when there are difficulties and constraints, those people leave the party and then go somewhere else, which we are witnessing. There are lots of massive defections from one party to another because the UP is currently not is not a ruling party. So you need people who understand the dialectics of the politics of the nation, people who have the understanding about the strategic objective of the party, people who have the capability to be able to ensure absolute, effective, and efficient coordination of the work of the Unity Party across all of the different structures of the party. Of course, there are some of the things, I'm not going to go into details here, but the truth is that one of the key things that is lacking across or is limited in the UP is effective flow of communication across the various party structures in the Republic of Liberia. For example, if the National Executive Committee of the UP takes a decision, it takes more than several weeks before that decision filters down to the local level, to the zonal head, to the black head, even to the district. On multiple occasions, district coordinators, we have to call you and ask, what's going on up there? You got to make sure that you provide your structures with real-time information on the party's dispositions on matters of governance, real-time information on the party's position on issues across the country, and on a strategic direction. This is the experience that I have, serving as district youth coordinator and all the way up to serving as national youth leader and vice chair for youth affairs of the Unity Party. I believe with these experiences and the required education will enable me to provide a quality leadership that is required right now in the secretariat of the Unity Party. And for the most part, it's important to also digress a little bit. Because of the hard work, because of the extraordinary efforts that we put in the Unity Party at the time serving as national youth leader, that's the reason why I became a consensus candidate for the secretary position of the Unity Party. But again, due to the fact that we needed to bring many people on board, I was asked to resign my ambition. So I still remain committed. Of course, we have gotten burned before for the sake of the party. These are demonstrations of absolute loyalty as a soldier of the UP. We got in this base, and of course, with this government, there's a recent history with this administration. So there was the question of sticking, with the party, or just remain silent and remain on your job. We choose to stick by the party because it is Unity Party whose value system we believe in. So with or without job, with or without opportunities, we believe we can build a party to create opportunities for the partisans of the party and for the Republic of Liberia. This is the commitment that we come with. This is the experience that we come with. So that's why we, across the country, the consultations that we're carrying out across Liberia, the feedback are becoming very increasingly impressive. The other aspect also, which is very important for any political parties, is the issue of transparency and accountability. You realize that on many occasions, it happens with other parties, in fact, that the issues of transparency and accountability is a major problem for political parties. Parties that are government in waiting must be able to clearly demonstrate to the citizens that they are well organized, that they are transparent in the dealing, that they are accountable in the dealing. So we intend to bring that vision of transparency and accountability in the National Secretariat of the Unity Party. So we want to make sure that when John Brown, we're in Bokonjile, for example, or in Sabo Swanken, for example, or in Sastan, pays a nickel as due, that person must be able to clearly understand what the money is utilized for. So that way they will always be encouraged to contribute to the activities and programs of the Unity Party.
Okay, thank you so much. We're not doing a roller skating here, Mr. Tweh. This is the Liberia Public Radio here. Okay, talk to me here, transparency. You are a former Minister of Government, I believe, on Helen Johnson's leave, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. The slogans or this trumpet of transparency that you are articulating, was that transparency? Was it glaring during your party leadership, the party you work for, during the leadership of the ruling party? Was that was it unfolding in reality?
When the Unity Party took over in 2006, Liberia was a pariah state. The question of accountability and transparency was completely out of sight.
Let's undo the 5-6 year here. You were there, you were in authority for 12 consecutive years. And I can say here that publicly your party was fractured. Your candidate then, Madam Helen Johnson Sirleaf, turned her back then to a former vice president, the guy who served her for 12 years, and that was eluded by the party. She did not support the party. And you guys, everybody were there. Now Helen Johnson Sirleaf is coming home for her now. So what is the new brand? What is the new representation of this Unity Party to say, okay, we didn't do it the first time, but this time around we're going to do it 100% by perfection?
No, the two different questions you're asking here. You asked about accountability, and then you're asking about. So, which one of them you want me to answer? The latest one.
They are all relevant to this conversation.
You know, so because what I'm trying to draft. Mm-hmm. Yeah, what I'm trying to draft out here is that there was no question of accountability and transparency. You know, before the UP took over. When the UP took over the presidency of the country, there was no issues around. There was no institution called LACC, Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission. The GAC was completely dormant and practically literally dead. Not only that, but the LACC, Liberia Anti-Corruption, of course, I've just named that, the PPCC as well, the National Bureau of Concession. These are anti-graft institutions that the Unity Party government, under the leadership of Helen Johnson Sirleaf and Joseph Dimabwaka, established for the singular purpose of ensuring that corruption was fought to the letter, to the point where the governance could thrive and governance could serve the people well. I'm not saying to you things were rosy. There were challenges, of course, around human resource management, making sure that you mend fences, you build up the human resource infrastructure in those institutions, that they will be very effective and efficient. There were challenges around that, but we established those institutions to fight corruption. People were persecuted, of course. We gather history. Individuals were persecuted, and the people restituted, public finances. So official corruption, for the most part, became a bit minimized. I'm not saying to you they were eradicated, okay? So on the question of what went wrong, it's a whole big chunk of issues that requires a very meticulous response. And the UP did a post-mortem, which I always consider to be a painstaking post-mortem, reviewing the different challenges that occur, the issues that went wrong in the UP, for which we got defeated as a party. We accept that. We're now in opposition. So I don't want us to drive ourselves back to the chapter that has already been closed, because the UP took a practical step, a bold step, to reconcile to begin reconciling the party, and bring everybody back on board. Mrs. Salif is no exception. We began holding consultation with her already and other former leaders of the Unity Party. If the UP cannot demonstrate readiness to reconcile herself, or will engage in haphazard reconciliation process, what makes you think we will reconcile the nation? These are some of the things that we need to be very mindful of. We cannot say we reconcile in the UP and leave out Mrs. Salif or leave out John Brown. Mrs. Salif is a part of the reconciliation process. She's now a part of the bigger family of the Unity Party. So all the different things that occurred, the political mismanagement that happened, which led to our defeat, those things are now closed. They are new chapter that we have opened. So the UP is now moving on with reconciliation effort. So Mrs. Salif, as former standard bearer, former leader of the country, we will from time to time consult her when a need arises. There are other national leaders, even the government do consult her at times when a need arises. So we will do that. The president she doesn't want to be president again. She doesn't want to be standard bearer again. So we cannot do away with her entirely. So as a party, there's a bold and painstaking step that we're taking after our post-mortem to reconcile everybody. So this whole issue of support and non-support, let's put that chapter behind us. We're now moving ahead. We're trying to make sure that we revamp the Unity Party. We give it a meaning. We give it a face. And for the most part, we sell our candidate in 2020, in these elections, the 2020 special senatorial election, and of course in 2023 election. The UP wants to make sure that we work with our collaborating partners to make a solid case to the people of Liberia that the party is ready. We have reviewed the complexity of socioeconomic challenges, and then on the basis of that, we have been able to devise a vision. We have been able to carve out a vision that clearly mirrors the hopes and aspirations of the people of Liberia. This is something that the UP remains very, very committed to, along with its collaborating partners. So yes, this is the page that we are on, and we're moving very gingerly, very meticulously. We will make a solid case to the people of Liberia. So this is the reason why I believe I am more suitably positioned, more suitably qualified to provide leadership in the National Secretariat, because it requires a robust individual to serve as Secretary General, somebody who understands the dialectics of politics in the nation and who understands the institutional politics, the party's value system, the party's funding principles and ideology, to be able to provide that quality leadership that will lead the party from one level to another. This is something that we are very truly committed to, and that's why we're asking our partisans across the country that the fact that you formed faith in me in 2016 to make me National Secretary General of the Unity Party, you can still find that faith in me, because I have not detoured. I have never deviated from the value system of the UP. I have always remained committed. And the Secretary General position requires a committed soldier, somebody who understands the strategic direction of the Unity Party. That's why I'm putting myself up for this position. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Tweh. This is a very high-profile position that you are vying for, and I'm quite sure you do have some of your counterparts or other members who also have expressed interest in this position. The day is getting closer and closing in and closing in. How far are you now in terms of where this convention were to come today? The next day, what will we talk? What will we talking about? Is Amos Tweh going to be the next Secretary General of the Unity Party?
Well, hopefully, I'm hoping to come back here as the National Secretary General of the UP to speak, to matters of national concerns as Secretary General, and at the same time to speak on the policies and programs of the Unity Party, on the strategic direction of the Unity Party. We are holding consultations with potential delegates across the country. Just the other time I was in the Western region, and the only thing we have to do is to remind our partisans that we were there yesterday. We did not detour. We did not betray. We remain committed. We did not defect from the institution. So as a loyal soldier of the party and somebody who is very committed to the strategic objective and programs of the party, you know.
Folks, please bear with us. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm becoming very increasingly, and I'm very cautiously optimistic that we will be elected National Secretary General, because this is a 2-year tenure, remaining 2 years tenure of the Eugene Nangbe tenure that we are going to complete. And then hopefully, when we shall have completed that, we will now make a new case to the party based on our performance record. Okay, in 2022, hopefully, when we go for the national convention. And that will be the very critical area that the party is going to reach, because whoever is going to be elected as National Secretary General of the Unity Party, that person will drive the party, will help, will provide leadership, or will work with the leadership of the party to drive the Unity Party to, you know, the 2023 general and presidential election. So, of course, this is something that we are committed to, and very cautiously optimistic that we're going to get the knocks from our partisans based on our hard work, based on our demonstration of commitment and loyalty, and of course, based on the kinds of vision that we have, based on our ability to draw from all sectors of the party, from the young people, from the older generation, from the middle-aged generation, of course, which I'm part of. So I found myself in a rather balanced position. And it's going to give me that opportunity to serve the Unity Party. And this is the advantage that I have. This is the advantage that I come with. Amos Tweh is the only candidate in the Unity Party Secretary General race that has stood the test of time more than any other candidate, for that matter, that has gone through or experienced lots of consequences as a result of decisions that we have taken. So I'm the only candidate for the Secretary General position now who has rose through the ranks and file of the Unity Party, serving as district youth coordinator, all the way to being a national youth leader and occupying other positions. So this places me in a rather positive position to enable me provide quality leadership for the Unity Party, because I am an institutional member. This is important for political parties. It's always good for you to be able to put people who understand the philosophy of the party, the ideology of the party, the funding principle of the party, and of course, the strategic direction of the party. You need a committed soldier.
Talking about committed soldier and Unity Party.
I was not getting you actually. Can you repeat that question again?
Are you hearing me now? Are you hearing me? Mr. Tweh, are you hearing me now? Hello? Are you hearing me now?
Just repeat the question. I think I'm getting it now.
You getting me now?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, okay. Now, your party is not a party of yesterday. When I said yesterday, years back, it was a standing party. You have formed a union, followed political parties. That's going to be a huge transition if elected as the next Secretary General of the Unity Party. How would that sort of transition to cement with the ideologies of the other party? Okay, I just lose Mr. Tweh. Hopefully you're going to join us back here. I'm Alphonso Zean of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. Hopefully we're going to join him here. He's going to get back here with us. And as usual, we'll put out the number here as well to get your take. Let me just take this quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Yahweh, you are too much for me. Yahweh, Yahweh, oh, Yahweh, you are too much for me. Hey, Yahweh.
All right, that's Minister Wanins is in Liberia making a contribution here this afternoon. My guest is back. By the way, she's going to be right here live on the 9th of August. It's going to be the huge musical concert here with more than 20 artists from Liberia, Europe, and other parts of the world going to be here. My guest is back. Mr. Tweh, are you hearing me? Mr. Tweh, are you hearing me now? Mr. Tweh, are you hearing me?
Hello?
Yeah, are you hearing me?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay, good.
Yeah, sure. I'm here. I'm here.
Okay, good. All right.
Yeah, I'm getting you now. Sure.
Okay, great. I was just asking you, it's going to be a big transition. Unity Party not going to be a sitting party. You have. Are you still having problem hearing? Are you not hearing me? Are you there? Are you hearing me? Oh, that's the beauty. The internet from Liberia is crazy. Mr. Tweh, are you hearing me? Are you getting me or not? Okay, let's see here. We will still try here. Folks, just bear with us. The internet service from Liberia reception. Mr. Tweh, are you there? Are you hearing me?
The network keep breaking. It keep breaking through actually.
So are you not still hearing me? I'm hearing you a little bit. You're coming through. Are you there?
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, at this point now the internet can be so busy.
Yeah. So that's a little bit Are you getting me or not? Okay, he gone off again. Just bear with us. We'll try the best we can. Let me just take this break. We'll be right back. Okay, let's see here. Hopefully, our guests will be right back here. We'll try to put a number out, but hopefully he will join us right back here for us to have the conversation ongoing. Mr. Tweh is contesting for the Secretary General positions of that's the Unity Party, the former ruling party of Liberia, now merged with other three political parties going in as a coalition, CPP team now. He's contesting for the Secretary General, former Minister of Government, work formerly with the Liberian Petroleum Refinery Company, LPROC. Good governance. We intend to have really a good conversation, but the internet is not doing us a favor here. Let me just put the number out here okay, Mr. Tweh is back here. Let's see. Hopefully he will. Mr. Tweh, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here now. The network is so terrible.
Yeah. Okay. I understand that. That's the beauty of Liberia. Hopefully, when you guys take the being next leadership, will work on it. But am I audible? Are you here? Are you hearing me now?
Yeah, sure. I'm getting you now. Hopefully.
Okay, good. Hopefully it stays like this. But I was just asking you, it's going to be a huge transition. So your party now emerged with other political parties. So that sort of transition there, I'm wondering here, under your leadership, if elected as the Secretary General, what sort of new dimensions or what sort of new ideas you think you're going to come together? How are you going to work out? You're going to have a Liberty Party. You're going to have the ANC. You're going to have the ALP. So how will the executive structure in terms of coming out to issue a statement? So what will the secretaries of these other various parties, how that sort of framework going to be like?
First off, it's important to stress here that even though we are in a collaboration, but the parties have not lost their individual party identity.
Mm-hmm.
So we can still individually speak on matters of national concern, of governance, but at the same time, as collaborating partners, parties, as part of the process of building confidence and strengthening relationship, we started speaking on issues of national concerns ever since as one unit. Okay, as one unit. We're hoping we can continue with this particular trend. In addition to continuing with this particular trend, there is a CPP framework document that is almost at the point of finality, which is going to help to guide the activities, the behavior pattern of the CPP collectively and individual CPP member. At that period, our responsibility as Secretary General will be to make sure that the party remain in direct conformity with all of the provisions laid out in the CPP framework document as much as we have agreed on all of them as a party. The second thing is that whilst it's true that we have not lost our individual party identity, part of my task would be to focus on coordinating the strengthening of the party's internal organizational structure across the Republic of Liberia to make sure that the party remains very viable across the nation. You understand? Across the zones, across the districts, and the counties, as a matter of fact. The last portion of this question is that there is a provision within the CPP framework document that calls for our, as a party, that we will finally, all of the different processes we are involved with will finally lead us to, hopefully, will lead us to forming a merger amongst the four collaborating parties. So the Unity Party remains committed to that, okay? So we will focus on strengthening our internal organizational structures as a party. At the same time, we will make sure we coordinate efforts with our party to remain in direct conformity with all of the provisions laid out in the CPP framework documents. Because of course, as a party, we have led and continue to lead the process of consolidating the country's democracy or political system. We have done that. We are hoping we can continue to work with not just the three other political parties, but we're hoping we can continue to work with other political parties with similar ideologies, similar philosophies and principles to make sure that we narrow the multiplicity of political parties in Liberia. This is our objective. This is something that we remain very truly committed to as a party. So as National Secretary General, my task will be to coordinate in a rather effective and efficient way all of the different programs that the institution will be involved with, whether it is strengthening the internal organizational structures of the party, whether it's making sure that the party remains in direct conformity with the CPP framework document so that we do not violate it or are not seen as a violator, whether it's making sure that we make a solid case or we carve out a development agenda that mirrors the hopes and aspirations of the people of Liberia. My commitment will be in that, to coordinate party programs in a way that it is directly responsive to the needs of the people of Liberia. Based on my institutional knowledge, my education, the experience, and our demonstration of loyalty and commitment, I believe I'm very well suitably positioned, to provide quality leadership. And that the demography of our country is such that the population of Liberia, we are about 65.3 or so percent of the nation's population are youthful. Thankfully, I find myself in a middle age bracket. So I will be able to draw from the very youthful generation of the nation. And like I've always indicated, the middle age and the old folks that we have worked with so diligently, that we have been able to serve in a rather humbling manner, to the point where anybody you ask in the UP will not tell you this young man is a betrayer, this young man lacks credibility, this young man does not understand, his functions, his responsibilities. Older folks will always tell you that have a very solid credibility and unity party.
Are you hearing me?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I tell you, you're breaking me.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Okay. Let me get pick up this call here and see here. Hello, caller, are you there?
Yeah, hello.
Yeah. Good evening.
Good evening. This is George Lobo calling from Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay, Mr. Lobo, you're supposed to be on vacation this kind of time, man. Come on, why you? All right, I know your ballot button. Your ballot button is all about unity party. Okay, so let me give you the opportunity to maybe for your questions or maybe comment. You've been following the conversation. How are you, Mr. Lobo?
I'm doing pretty well. First and foremost, let me take this time to thank my dear friend and brother, the man Amos Tweh, our incoming Secretary General.
Wait a minute, George Lobo. Our incoming, that's a strong
I'm not the
word.
one you're interviewing, Mr. Tweh. Let me express myself. I'm entitled to my right. When you shoot, then you start talking on me. Get out of here, man. let me please. But don't forget, Mr. So, I am a member of the Unity Party, and I have the right to support a candidate of choice. So for me, I support people who I want them to win. And
So,
I'm making it very clear.
but then let me just get it clear. Let me make it, and I please, man, you come to me. You're not just going to bypass here our incoming secretary. So, is he your candidate? Is he your candidate now?
Amos Tweh is my candidate. I think I posted almost about 4 weeks ago on my page.
Oh, okay.
He has my inflation.
Sometimes people hack people Facebook, man. I like to hear it directly from the houses, man. Go ahead.
Let me state for the record, Amos Tweh is my incoming Secretary General of the Unity Party. That is the man who I support.
Okay,
I need a loyal, committed, dedicated, honest young man who bring the expertise, who have sacrificed for the party to this disco, and he has done it. Those Liberians who may not know what Amos Tweh have done, I want them to check since Liberia was created or funded as a country. One deputy minister in the Republic of Liberia who turned 4,000 plus over 40,000 to the Liberian government, which caused the Liberian government to institute an audit, which we saw the government was able to retrieve over $1 million United States dollars. So when you show me that Liberian young man of that type of character, then we'll have a discussion. Until that can be done, Amos Tweh is a guy who has the credibility and integrity to be the Secretary General of our party. But I got one question here for him before I get there. Before I get to my question, let me say one thing very clear, Mr. So. I want to join all well-meaningful Liberians, and I want to thank you very much, you yourself, for bringing on the Superintendent for Grand Juliet County. I think it's a disturbing issue given our country's dark past and its history. I want to join other Granadians as a Liberian to condemn such barbaric act. And like Amos said, these are series of events. They have been motivated, orchestrated by the government. When we have people in hierarchies of the government making statements that the police is their police, the army is their army, that they will use all the state apparatus to go after opposition, this is threatening to our democracy, especially when the AFL was used. That is one of the reasons why people have problem with the AFL today. The AFL was compromised and used against peaceful citizens when it should have been there to defend the citizen. So I want to condemn that action. There are good people from Grand Juliet County. You are one of those guys who you and myself, we don't agree all the time. We disagree a lot. But I understand your openness and your boldness. There are other guys. I know if I was to list here today, I read a book, the Alexander Yela. There are so many other people from Grand Juliet who are very good guys that we disagree on a lot of issues. But such action must be condemned. And I want to say this to you young folks. Stop allowing yourself to be used. The people who are sending the messages to you people in Grand Juliet are in Monrovia, sleeping in their air-conditioned houses. Their children go to some of the good schools. You will not see them until the day they want to come to get your food. You and your mom, your father, you and your brothers and sisters are in Red suffering. They are in Monrovia eating on time and on a current while you are struggling. For too long, young people need to stop this making excuses. That people using us. You yourself allowing yourself to be used. Why can't they use a young man like me? Have you asked yourself that question? Why can't they use a young man like Amos? Why can't they use other young people? Why only you folks? So I want to say this, Mr. So, this is wrong. And George, we are especially giving the fact that he is supposed to be the man of peace. He is a pastor. This is what I don't understand about President Weah's leadership. This is the man who was supposed to be a unifier. Under his watch, up to now, there have not been a statement. This has not been the first time. But we know the president is a guy who would never act. He was always behind the scene. But I'll say this. My dear brother Amos, as you have come to make a case to the Unity Party partisan, can you tell the Liberian people, the Unity Party, not Liberian people, but the Unity Party partisans, what set you apart from all other contestants, and what type of candidate or what type of SG that we can rest assured we will have in you, Mr. So thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let me see. Oh, sorry. You had this here. Okay. Mr. Tweh, you want to respond?
Yeah. Sure. Exactly. Thank you very much, my friend and brother, Mr. George Lobo. Thank you so very kindly for the support, the confidence that you have reposed in us. I can definitely assure you that as we did in the past, we will continue to remain committed to the cause of the Unity Party, to make sure that the Unity Party works with its collaborating partners to make a very solid case and to dispense leadership that benefits the people of Liberia. What sets me apart? I think you clearly outlined some of them. I come to this task, to this job with the required and necessary requisite education, with the required experience, serving in the party in various positions for 20 plus years. That's a humongous, experience that anybody can bring to bear, in the position, the portfolio of Secretary General. So this is something I pride myself in. In addition to that, its National Secretary General must be somebody very credible. I think you clearly outlined that here. And some people might not know or might not have read. When I serve as Deputy Minister, of course, as a result of some policy issues and decisions we took in the interest of the UP, when I got removed from government, between 2015, April 8, up to 2016, of course, money went into my account inadvertently. Sometimes people say, oh, we're not trying to show off, but we're trying to demonstrate some level of credibility. In order for you to elect somebody, you got to know who they are, what they have done, what they're capable of doing. So on the question of credibility, we have demonstrated that. That money that went into my account inadvertently from the Ministry of Finance, almost 47,000 US at that time, as a young man. We took the bank account or statement to the president, okay, to the appointing power, and took how money went into my account inadvertently. We turned that money back because it didn't belong to us. It's the taxpayers' money. That is a demonstration of clear and absolute credibility to the state, to the people, because I believe I'm a public servant. Okay, my tax is to serve the people in ways that will benefit them, not to benefit me at their detriment. We turn that money over. So this is one thing that set me apart. The other thing that set me apart is that because I rose through the ranks and file of the Unity Party, I'm the only contender who has risen through the ranks and file of the party. In other countries, for you to even occupy a party position, to be a district coordinator, you must have served in other positions in the party. You must have demonstrated some level of loyalty and commitment. And you must have come with the required experience and education. All of these I come with. You understand? So these are the things that absolutely set me apart from other contenders, in the race. In addition to that, I'm robust, I'm very energetic, I'm very committed, I understand the complexity of challenges that the nation is faced with, that the people are faced with, and I understand the strategic direction of the Unity Party. My task would be to coordinate programs and activities in ways where the party's strategic objective is achieved in time. This is something that we're very truly committed to, given my education and my background, including my experience.
Okay. All right. Let me go to the
Thank you,
line
Josh.
here, for a few caller here. Okay, I have 2 callers on the line. Thank you for being so patient. One is calling from Norway. Emmanuel, Mr. Boa, are you there?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Mr. So.
Okay, yeah. What's your question? Then I will go to the three forces. Just hold on that. After time, Mr. Boa will come back to you. Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Boa.
Thank you very much. First of all, I want to state categorically that what happened in Grand Jide concerning Honorable Yeke Koluba was a very dubious act on the part of some of those youth. They misbehaved, and that we should condemn because it is not right. Every Liberian has the right to live wherever they want to live. They have the right to move wherever they want to move. So I don't think anybody has the right to stop a particular Liberian from going to any particular county, especially Grand Jide. And so I think we should tell our youth and those that are in Grand Jide that it is very much unfortunate that they behave the way they behave. We want to tell our superintendent to make sure that he takes the action that is necessary for those that were in that act to be brought to book. This is very serious, and we don't need this kind of activity to go on in Grand Jide or any other county for that matter. Well, as for Mr. Tweh, I want to congratulate you for your desire and your interest to seek the secretarial post of your party. I think it is about time that young people in Liberia try to and subscribe to leadership, because the future is for you guys. And so you got to try to make sure you jump into the race so that people will know you, so that people will start to believe in you, so that the country can move forward on your own. Continue to pursue your interests and make sure that based on what you are saying, I think you mean well. And so we will always like to encourage you guys that are younger to do the best so that our country, can rise again to the top. Let us not just sit and allow the older generation, even though you said in your opening statement, I'll listen to you about that you want to make sure, that you integrate both the older generation, the young generation. That is good, because it's good for you to work together so that you learn from them, they learn from you, you advance new ideas so that, they will also get on board so that we all can work and bring this country to what it ought to be. Thank you very much for having me, and I hope you continue to pursue your dreams.
So, no question for the member, man? The endorsement?
Thank you very much.
And he said a lot, and I don't want to be specific, but asking him questions.
All right.
I don't think it's I don't want to ask you any question because he said things that are understood are right, and so why should I ask him questions? I just need to make sure to encourage him that he pursue his dreams.
Okay,
that is important.
All right, great. All right, there you have it. That we. Okay. Oh, there's a call coming in from Belgium. Let me just merge the call, and then I will come back to you, Mr. Guest. Okay, there's a number here, 48480 number. Please bear with me. Let me just take this out of country number here quickly here. 32 number, are you there? 32034, I believe, from Europe.
Yes, Mr. So. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. What's your name and what you calling? Yeah.
Amos Weekend. I'm calling from Belgium.
Okay, how are you today?
I'm fine, sir.
All right.
So I'm calling on two things.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sitting here, we want to be united members, which is good. We all encourage young people to get in our politics to help change our system in the country, which is very bad. But at the same time, most of the young guys who come in today who want to go back to the system, this guy has a chance when Ellen was in power. Ellen brought more young men and women in power. which is Mo Ali, Steven Johnson, and even the young. Most of those guys went in with a very wrong mindset. It was all about their own pocket. This is not about a political party issue. Because you saw what happened when Ellen left, after the election, when Ellen left, the party is completely broke down. Where are those young people who came with Ellen in the beginning? Most of them have gone back to America. They only come in the interest of their pocket to get something and go by America and settle themselves. This man was in a position. He said they removed him from a position. Why are they removing him from a position? And he claimed to be honest person. He returned 47,000 back to the government. I don't think if you are doing a so good job, I don't think that no one will remove you from your position. There must be something happening that will remove you from your position. Most of the young guys, today we speak about corruption, but the worst part of it, the young men who have the opportunity to serve their people choose for their own pocket. And even most corrupt than the old one we are fighting today. Secondly, we get back to Grand Gillette. What happened in Grand Gillette today is not about practicing. People have to take that back of their mind. Liberia and the world have become a very small place today. Facebook, social media have made the world very small. People sitting in Grand Gillette, Nima County, watching what's happening in Moserado. When Yeke was Henry 102 on the street as a lawmaker, without slippers, no shoes, jumping on the car, from car to car, everyone praising as a 102 medicine. That's how they used to call it. They used to call him 102 medicine. No one's complaining that this guy's a lawmaker, he misbehaving. Even if there's problem that's going on in our society, as a lawmaker, there's a way to handle those issues. Not to come on the street, jumping from one place to another place, that water star car ball. Everyone was praising Yeke. They say most of the people today that are talking about the Grand Gillette that have to change what they did was wrong. We have to condemn what they are doing. No. Because it's seeing Yeke as a lawmaker who has to respect himself, be a perfect example to the youth. Yeke was not an example to the youth. The youth are doing exactly what Yeke teach them. So not because it's today against him, so we have to start condemning what's happening down there. The youth learn from Yeke. For the past years, everywhere been Yeke. June 7 was Yeke. Before June 7, before the election last year was also Yeke. Everywhere was Yeke. The record is there. Even after what happened between 102, Yeke went in a radio station. He sat there and even opened his stairs to the side. He was even waiting to take the arm from one of the policemen. He was going to shoot anyone. Can you imagine a lawmaker making self-statement and people still praise him to be a hero? Lawmaker telling you say he's going to take the law enforcement weapon to use it against themselves.
Okay, so yeah, make your point now. So I'll bring the other post. So are you saying, and I just want to get it right, whatever happens today, is that something he deserves? Is that your argument?
He even deserves more than that because he refused to be a peaceful citizen. So he deserves it. It's not about CDC. It's about the people are practicing what he taught them. You know, as a teacher, when you teach a student, the student will also have to repeat it. So he deserves it.
Okay, then.
We should put it away from. Some people on social media, 1 minute, sir.
Yeah, hurry up now. So the other folks, I put them because you call from the long distance. What are we being on air now?
Okay. This is not for your unity party. This is a few individuals they are dealing with according to the way they have to deal with it. Thank you very much, sir. Okay.
All right. Thank you. Well, we just here to facilitate the conversation. This views and opinion expressed here does not in any way represent the management and staff of the Liberia Public Radio. Okay, let me go to this number here, 346 number 3746. Caller, what's your name and where you calling from? What's your question? 346, are you there? 3746.
Let me know.
346, the last 4 digits, 3746. Are you there?
I'm right here. Can you hear me?
I'm hearing you loud and clear. What's your name and where you calling from?
No, this is Keselin Double, and I'm calling from Texas.
Okay, Mr. Double. We just want to make sure that, we don't want to just get and call people name. Go ahead.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. And I want to say thanks to your guest, Amos Tweh, a brother and friend who I've been knowing, my fellow citizen. We've gone a long way. There is one reason why I love this brother, and I can tell you that if I had a voting right now in the party, that he would carry my vote.
Wow.
The reason is that, one main reason is that I've been with United Party since 2005. And since I entered the party, this brother I've been around. A young man who's been around, we used to be at the party headquarters. I mean, we did things together, though I might not know him like we were like friends, personal friends, but we were partisans. We moved together, we did things together, and I saw his activities. And one reason why I really admire this brother is that this is a young man who are taking the opportunity to say, I just want to work. You know, I had the chance, I can work in the government, I can take any position I want to take at the time Unity Party. I mean, Madam Teddy was giving some of them opportunity to work. But this brother did not take advantage that he had the opportunity to work. He took his time out, went out there, educated himself. That was a very wise decision, knowing the fact that he had a very good future ahead and believing that the future was going to be bright for him. He did not sit there and say, I'm going to work, like some of our friends are doing today. We've advised them over and over. They are refusing to take our advices, thinking that because we are from the other political aisle, they won't listen to us. But this brother, I pray that other young people in government who have the opportunity tomorrow will follow his example. I really admire him for that. And not just that, this brother has been in the Unity Party all of these years, all of the things that have been going on. He has taken the Unity Party because of the love for the party.
Okay.
Who will stay with the organization, like, tells you that they have the desire, they have the heart to move that organization forward. And based on that, I admire it. I have a voting right today. And I'm encouraging other people in that bureau who have the voting right to vote him as Secretary General of the Unity Party.
Okay.
But I have one question for him. And my question would be, I want to know his relationship with the past party chairman.
Mr.
I don't know how they were like, because the party chairman is one person I admire. It's one person whose leadership I believe into. Why is true, he might have made some mistake, but I still believe in his leadership. And I trust him a whole lot. So I don't know how they interrelated. And with the issue that had to do with the Grand Jury, can I just say one comment on this so I can leave the platform for other people to come in?
Yeah, 30 seconds, please. I got other folks on hold.
Yeah, it is so discouraging that all right, we will still be going back to some of these things. Especially for the superintendent, it's disgraceful for the manner informed on which he acted. If you are out there for him to be coming out and be denying, he went in the room into the people and he got called back to lead the country. The country is not for him. The country is for everybody, and it is the right for every Liberian to move every part of Liberia you want to go. So please, let's respect that and let's live by it. Thank you very much, Mr. So, and thanks for your time.
Okay.
And Amos, I wish you a good luck, friend.
All right, bye. Okay, Mr. Tweh, hold on. Let me just put this caller here. 480 number. Are you there? 6180. Guys, please just go strictly to the point. 48061.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Zo. How you doing?
Good. How are you? What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah. This is Prince Kurman. I call from Worcester, Massachusetts.
Okay, Mr. Kurman, how are you today? Go ahead.
Thank God. There are a couple of issues I want to put forward. First of all, I would like to start with your studio guest, Amos Tweh. I can remember, Mr. So, you know, if you say the boom, the dog should not eat the boom should not get ratted. Let's take it from the party line and take it like individually. Amos Tweh, like his studio there right now, are looking at him live on Facebook. What led his expulsion or what led him leaving government? It was his famous post. Okay, that he gonna gather a unity party to remove the sitting government. He said that. Was he condemned? No. I'm gonna give him instances that the CPP that he's supporting today, including the Unity Party. I'm gonna ask questions. The incident was Zodizo on UF campus when he was chased away from that campus by our students, some of them including Unity Party. Where the records that show that the CPP or the Unity Party or he Amos Tweh over there that condemned the act. So this was a citizen. Remember, he had a right to say what he want to say, irrespective of the law. Secondly, the statement that was made by Medicare Domain, was he condemned by the CPP The question he asked, he did not answer that question. Where are the records that is proving, that is showing that they condemn this statement? Third, Honorable Dara Dillon, that just threatened our country, that if he cheated, the government will be removed. Have the CDC government or the CDC, the CPP political party or the joint political party condemn any statement like that? The action of people, Costa, calling people together at the Cali hospital, that they tell people that they condemn it, where the record approved. It's still right there, where the record approved that they ever condemn this act.
Okay.
The burning of tires on the street in the morning to stop people from going to places. They ever condemn them? They ever condemn the act by the supporters? Let him prove it if I'm lying.
All right. Okay, so we got to get a chance to respond. So let me pick up thank you so much. Mr. Tweh, hold your peace. Let me go to 609 numbers, and then you're going to have a time after this. Is 609-701 number. 609-5978. Caller, what's your name and where you calling from?
Thank you, Mr. So. My name is Yaki Williams, calling from New Jersey.
Okay, Mr. Williams. Welcome. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. How you doing? And thank you for your studio guest. And it's good for Unity Party or CPP members to show faith. But my question is, what are they waiting for to be able to? Because I'm giving them 9 months.
Wait, what are they waiting for? Like how? What you say?
Probably maybe we start to criticize them or to praise them. 9 months, because I've asked Judge Lobo about a compact communique. What do I mean by a compact communique? It means a document, a framework document explaining policy prescription as to how they wish to govern.
Right.
What are the issues, in terms of agriculture, the reforms, and how they're going to be able to accumulate maybe revenue or resources to invest in agriculture, to reform the educational sector. How are they going to do it? And within what timeline? In terms of maximizing revenue, how are they going to do that in terms of the roads, maybe toll or whatever, waterfront property? How is going to be priced? How they're going to be, because we're going to be, we're talking about generating more domestic revenue to do a lot of domestic projects and take care of unfunded liabilities. And in terms of healthcare, how are they going to reform and make investment, in this area? I'm waiting to see them coming out with that document. I gave them 9 months because they have 1 year, 3 months, and they expired. They came up with some framework talking about how they would share jobs, and they were criticized. I ain't criticizing them. I'm not going to criticize them. I'm waiting for 9 months from now before I can start to maybe do to praise them. Before I can do podcast, maybe to praise them and sing praise songs, because I don't really sing. I don't know praise songs to sing, but I probably learn some, borrow some from CDC people, and be singing some for them. I'm trying to be, I'm trying to be humorous to them, because there's a whole lot of things they got to do. Because coming from 2017 to right now, things are bad.
Okay,
we're going to get bad.
Okay,
the plan of Labrador is being rapidly managed by whatever government in place. I ain't here to come call government or bash government. But CPP as government in waiting need to explain to the Liberian people in terms of policy prescription. So I'm waiting for that compact communique document. I'm not saying I know all, but if they get hard time, they don't contact me. They can pay me low money. I will help them.
I know nothing. Okay, thank you, my man. All right, we are running out of time here. 701 number, please go ahead quickly here, and then I'm going to go to Pat Joy, so I will give my guest a chance to respond.
Thank you, sir. Good evening to my senior brother from Lockington, Amos Tweh. Yeah.
Good evening, my brother.
I'm very much happy to see one of our own from Lockington, being in the opposition party, making headway and things, and we as young people, we look up to him and we look up to other young revolutionaries. But I also, the previous caller that just called before this caller, I mean, he almost spoke my mind.
Oh,
you
wow.
know, when it comes on the issue of credibility, I find it very difficult. When it comes on the issue of credibility, when Yeke Koruba, who happen to be the honorable man of our parliament, can just stand on the street and rain insult on the presidency, which is the overhead office of all office in Liberia. One day, my senior brother never wanted to denounce Yeke Koruba as a strong party steward. So I have a question for him. I want to know if he win the Secretary General position, what would be a role when it comes on the issue of misinformation, abusive comments on the line of politics? What will he say or what will he do different that some of our leaders they are not doing right now? What would be his new way of branding the opposition or United Party when it comes to the issue of misbehavior from people like Yeke Koruba? Will he be willing to denounce publicly when it comes to the issue of insult, some level of demonstration that is not in the interest of the country, but not the interest of party, but the interest of the country? Will he be willing to denounce it, to tell the Liberian people that the United Party will be a new breed of party that will bring new idea that will stand for the truth of the Liberian people, but not about political greed or political job seeker, but will always stand and say, no, Honorable Koruba, this should not be politics. Politics should be about the ideas, the differences. So we are tired with this thing, and these are people that we are looking up to. So I will let him to comment on that. What will be his new idea to when it comes on the issue of denouncing some of the outrageous comments from all of the affiliation? Because don't forget, United Party is part of the CPP. God forbid if United Party or CPP win the election, this coming election, will the other party behave that out? How will they feel? So I want to know as to whether if he win the position or if he not win the position, will he be one of the two Liberians to stand and denounce some of the base behavior that we're always seeing from the CPP and other politicians around town?
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Pa Joyce, let me just come to you. I believe that we're going to be the last person. It's getting late now. We can't keep you here for the longer. So, Pa Joyce, go ahead to the guests.
If you got many colors, I don't have a problem.
Now you, sir.
So
I have reached a point.
That's the last speaker for the day, and then you're going to respond, and then we can cut it off.
Okay.
No, go ahead, Pa Joyce.
Yeah, I'm tired of comparing and trying to equip all these things. Insult in Liberia today, for me, I'm just fed up with it. Okay, what we should be looking at is the violent trend that is taking place in Liberia. You know, I hear people talking about Yeke Koruba insult the president. When it comes out, they did this, and they want to go back. But it's sad. You can't go back on these things. If we want to move forward, let us move forward. Let us do it. Solomon George, what did he tell Mary Bro? Bring every time to go to West Point and see what they will do to her. Solomon George, a sitting member of CDC. What did he tell Mary Bro? Recently, what did Eugene Falcon, the deputy minister, tell Yima Bowie? He described a low self-esteem woman. Just last week, the CDC found on that a certain minister calling a lady low esteem person. The CDC found on that. What is so get about George where a certain lawmaker or someone insult George? What is the big deal about it now? What is the big deal? Just last week, Arizona Cortez, a certain member of the U.S. representative from New York. What did the representative from Florida call her Republican? I can't repeat the word because it could not be repeated on TV. The issue we should be talking about is violence, the tolerance of one another. What transpired in Grand Gide, Jefferson Kogi in Monrovia, New Kutan, Jefferson led a raid of men attacking the Unity Party headquarters. Yeke Koruba was having children party, the storm apart the Yeke Koruba resident. All these things happened under George Weah. Have the government come to one point to arrest anybody in these instances? Now it's gone to Grand Gilead. The superintendent last year said it, that Yakoba is not welcome in Grand Gilead. The action of the people of Grand Gilead, some of the people of Grand Gilead was premeditated. Father led that because his statement he made last year. And it is embarrassing to go Grand Gilead to be defend, to come to apologize for some group of unscrupulous people action in Grand Gilead. And some people try to equip that Yakoba is insulting the president, insulting the president. When George Weah said he will wet out you all these things, he said it. Why you people don't look at the violent aspect of this thing is because what is this cause? You people are the one have made a thing now. The cussing is nothing for you people in Liberia. So I have reached a point. What I'm concerned about is the violent trend that is taking place in Liberia. What happened? Someone trying to compare Zorizo. Look, in politics, people can hack. There's hacker. You go there and make no disturb the person, drain the person's voice, and move on. That was not done. They went as far as destroying the man's personal property, hurting a police officer. I listened to the legislative cocoa of Grand, they're condemning it. But what I want to know and what I want to see is bringing the perpetrator to justice. Because the trend has continued to go. It's going this point. The superintendent of Grand, they're leading the chat, telling people that you are not welcome here by the people. Where that language is coming from now in Liberia, that you go there where you disagree with me, that when I go in this area, you're supposed to damage my property or threaten my life. We should not call it what it is that I call it. If it is a spin, it is a spin. And I'm very, very surprised about some people supporting the action of those group of men from Grand Gilead. Because what they did was just to embarrass good Grandians who are law-abiding. Some people going about the business. This is not time for violence. You can disagree with me. Fine. If I want to come, you want to dream my voice, do your hacking, dream my voice. I will leave. But do not go to attack people's personal property and their life. It is wrong, and we should call it what it is. If some people want to equip it, they can equip it to Zolizo. But look at the trend of this violence against Yeke Kolba. Look at it. When the justice minister ever brought charges to say these are the people that did it and we're going to prosecute it, when?
Okay. All right.
So I just want to leave it on that note. Just thank you for the program. But I think what is trending in Liberia, people must be very careful. People must be very careful.
All right.
How they doing things in Liberia.
All right, Pat George, thank you so much. Okay, I think that's the last quarter for the data. Let me go to my guest, Mr. Tweh, Lat Bent Unleash here. So let's give you the fair share to respond to some of those comments and concerns that were expressed, and then we can get to the final point. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So thank you, Mr. So. A few points I jot down here. The other guy, my friend, thank you for the compliment. I think you basically asked about, what my relationship with P is. I think it's positive. P and I, we come a long way. When I served as national youth leader for the UP, he was the Secretary General of the Unity Party. We work, very closely to foster the agenda of the UP between 2010 and up to 2016. So we still talk. We're still colleagues. As a matter of fact. The other fellow about the Facebook post and all the other questions. Come on, comrade. How can you want to compare my Facebook post, is that an act of violence? If I invite my partisans to the headquarters of the Unity Party to discuss ways in which we can democratically remove, this administration, you want to equate that to planning violence or war against the government? How can you do that? This is within the realm of democratic principles or precepts. When you invite partisans to your headquarters, you invite them to discuss party matters, not war issues. The headquarters is different from barrack. It's different from war zone. You have to understand that. The CPP and the UP has condemned actions that entirely violate the constitution of our country, the laws of our country. That for the most part, people have engaged into undermine. CPP has condemned people. Okay, the CPP, I remember very well, have as well condemned people. And we have even reprimanded our own partisans. So it's not because we want to capture state power that we should cheat our way through to the presidency. Because we are of the conviction that whatever we do will live after us tomorrow. We can't be abusive all over the place, plenty violence all over the place, as all party did to enter state power. We cannot agitate our way through to the presidency. We have to be moderate, very responsible, very mature, and politely push our case so that it resonates with the people of Liberia. And that case is how we can carve out a public policy or development agenda that mirrors the interests of the people of Liberia. That's what obviously we would do at CPP, and we have done that. Let me spend more time on a guy who asked the question about the CPP framework document. I appreciate very deeply, your concern. It's important for us to draw a very clear distinction here. The CPP framework document is like a Bible that guides the behavior pattern of CPP members, the 4 collaborating parties within the CPP. It tells how we are going to move about with our operational activities so that they do not breach or they are not in conflict with the Constitution of Liberia, or they do not violate, the Constitution of our country and other laws, including the electoral laws of our country. That is the intention of the CPP framework document. How how parties will move about selecting candidates, whether it is representative candidates or senatorial candidates, or it is presidential candidates. That CPP framework document clearly lays out the different processes that we're going to be involved with. That's one. So it is different from the manifesto on a question of how we intend to tackle the complexity of socio-economic challenges, how we intend to grow the economy, the agriculture sector, the service sector of the country. There is a document called manifesto or party platform. That one, we can produce it now. The manifesto is going to be produced when the National Elections Commission of Liberia grant us the status of the CPP status, when they give us the authority to contest as one body. At the moment, we're just into this framework process, developing it, but the Election Commission has not recognized us officially. So it is the CPP framework document that will push to the Electoral Commission. They will review it, and then they grant us the party status as collaborating parties. After, when we are moving close to the 2023 elections, hopefully by 2022 or so, then we will develop a manifesto. That manifesto will lays out how the CPP intends to tackle the different sectors, the challenges in the different sectors, how we intend to move this country from an extractive-based economy to value addition, to how we intend to ensure that we establish, industrialization in the country, we make the country industrialized, that we move away from being an extractive-based economy, okay, as it has been in the past, to a process where we can be able to transform our own raw materials into finished products in the country, so that way we can address several other economic challenges. We'll be able to deal with the issue of local currency depreciation. We'll be able to deal with the issue of trade deficit, because by that time you will have been able to export, your commodities out of the country, and then there will be inflow of foreign currency, which will address local currency depreciations. That one are the economic. Unfortunately, the time is not there for us to go deep into it, but this is how we intend to tackle the challenges in the country as CPP. Okay, the framework document will be produced. Hopefully, maybe in the next few months or so, we'll finalize it. Election Commission will grant us the party status, and then thereafter, we will now move around the table. You understand? To develop a manifesto. That manifesto is like the social contract between the CPP and the people of Liberia. It clearly lays out the CPP vision. Whoever becomes the leader of the CPP in 2023, that person will be charged with the responsibility when they are elected as president in 2023. Yeah, they will be charged with the responsibility of implementing the vision of the CPP. And that vision will cut across all the different sectors. the economy, the service sector, security, rule of law, etc. One of the things we're going to be very keen on, my dear brother, is rule of law. Any country that continues to unabatedly disrespect the rule of law, you're not going to achieve anything around investment. There's not going to be investor because the people see you as a country that disrespect, your own laws, as we are literally and practically and unfortunately seeing in the Republic of Liberia. Maybe that's one of the reasons why we have not realized anything like investment in the country. Because, of course, there is an unabated disrespect for laws in the Republic of Liberia. The CPP is going to be very keen on that, as part of our vision for the people of this country. The young brother there who called from Looking Time. I mean, it's good that you are a living testimony to the kind of person we are. We're humble. We're very respectful, law-abiding. All through our growing up in Looking Town, nobody will tell you Amos Tweh has been disrespectful. The schools that I went to, and so on. And thankfully, we have come with that discipline at the national level. Okay, we're hoping we can continue to use it. When I'm elected as National Secretary General, my task will be to ensure that we implement policies and programs of the party. The party has never sanctioned or commissioned disrespect or people abusing leaders. We've never sanctioned that. So we will not do that. Amos Tweh will be responsible, will be focused on making sure that we sell the party throughout the Republic, the value system of the party. And one of the core components of the value system of the Unity Party is respect for the rule of law, is respect for leaders. Because if you perpetuate, violence and disrespect leaders, mind you, when you have the opportunity to get elected, people will do that to you. So, that we were established as an opposition party as far back as 1984, during the repressive administration. From opposition, we became ruling party, and then we are now in opposition. So we come with several years of experience. We cannot tolerate violence. We cannot tolerate people abusing leaders. This is unfortunate. We have reprimanded our own colleagues, our own partisans. The UP is not going to be in that business. Of course, I can tell you here that we will not support, demonstrations. We will not there will be demonstrations that are well within the ambit of the laws, that we believe will potentially benefit the people of Liberia, well within the ambit of the rule of law of the country. But there are demonstrations that we believe will lead to violence, that will undermine the peace and stability of the country. The Unity Party will not support that. And the UP has never supported demonstrations that undermine the rule of law and the peace and stability of the nation. Yes, sir.
Yeah, you were talking about Unity Party will not allow people to...
You're calling my attention?
Yes, you were talking about people will not abuse leaders, but it's also happening. And again, let me be very crystal. Yeah, are you hearing me? You're not hearing me? Hello? Are you hearing me? I'm getting a bite. I'm getting a feedback from you. Are you hearing me? Are you hearing me?
The network is terrible. The network is so terrible.
Okay. Are you still not hearing me?
Yeah, I'm getting you now.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm getting you now.
Okay, yeah, you were talking about Unity Party will not encourage insults on leaders. That even though Yeka Koluba is not member of the Unity Party, but he has a collaboration now, and this thing has been going on as Unity Party
address itself. Network. Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, as Unity Party address the way in which Representative Yeka Koluba
is a bit slow. Hello?
I'm hearing you. Are you there? Okay, he just went off yet. We're going to be cutting it for the day, but let me just give him the opportunity. I really wanted to ask him, based on the session that he was making, the Unity Party will not encourage. But Unity Party now is part of our ANC. They have all formed a collaboration. So I really wanted to know exactly what our Unity Party is going to speak to that effect as well. And somebody asked a question as to how he left government. That is also very, very much important that he also address that questions as well. But in a week, you listen to the Superintendent Kai Fale was on alert, has given his position. But let's see here. Let me just play this here. I spoke with former Foreign Minister Thomas Yaya Nimle. He's calling for the investigations that those that are responsible should be held accountable. He's not making a judgment at this time, but there are folks that are that carry out on this incident. The local leaders must hold them responsible. We try reaching out to Dr. George Boleta. We did not get a comment. We try reaching out to Representative Zoe Emmanuel Pennon. Zoe Pennon, that was very much crucial because he was accused in the interim. He was accused as someone that facilitated this, and we wanted to give the fair share to hear his side of the version. Senatorial aspirant William Yano issue a little brief statement, audio in possession of the Liberia Public Radios. Let's listen to this.
Good afternoon, my fellow Grangidians. This is William Yano. I just read this morning on the online a situation that occurred in Zwedru between Representative Yeket Koluba and a group of, I understand, young people who are demanding that he should leave Zwedru. I understand, in fact, some of his vehicles were damaged. If this is true, and I'm saying if this is true, I've seen, in fact, some images online. If this is true, then this is not correct. Liberia is a free country. And I think we should allow, or the law allows all Liberians to travel freely in Liberia. We in Grand Jide are kind and hospitable people. We don't engage in violence because of political disagreements. And I think this incident that is being reported, if it is true, it doesn't cast us in good light. People must be free to come to our county and to our towns, even people with whom we disagree. So I think this is something that we have to rethink, that this is not characteristic of our people. We cannot stop people from coming to Grand Jide because we disagree with them or because we disagree with their view. This is just unacceptable. And I think the county authorities need to do something about this, because in this hiding political season, we must not scare people away from Grand Jide. People must be free to come and express their view as long as they don't cause violence, they don't touch anybody, they don't incite violence. The authority needs to look into this matter and make sure those who are responsible for any damage are brought to book. Grand Jide cannot be known as a place where people will be brutalized or harassed because of their political view. I pray that this incident will be taken seriously and that something will be done about it in accordance with the laws of our country. Thank you, and God bless you all.
That was a statement there from Mr. William Yano, who is a senatorial aspirant from Grand Jide County. Sent to us. We try reaching to Representative Zoe Emmanuel Pennon, Dr. George Bole, Tamayaya Nimland, in a brief telephone conversation from the provincial senator of Zwedru, said he's calling on the local leaders to carry out or conduct and thorough investigations. It's unhealthy. It's not right. It shouldn't have happened. But those who carry on this act must be brought to justice. They must be investigated. And I think both statements seems to come in the right directions. And those who don't know the history of all of this, it happened in the past, years back. and that was about Billet and Toba 90 Potet when he asking not to enter Grand Judet. This is ridiculous. It has to stop. There's a way the behavior of Yeke Kolobat, we all know it is ridiculous. Even though the opposition on the other side are unable to call him to attention, and that's what makes it very difficult to see who is the authority to see what is happening. My guest is here, like he be making his final statement here. Mr. Tweh, are you hearing me? Mr. Tweh, are you hearing me? Let me see here. Mr. Tweh, are you hearing me? Mr. Tweh? Hello? Mr. Tweh, are you hearing me? Hello? Mr. Tweh? Okay, I'm not sure what is going on. He's not getting me. Are you hearing me now? Okay, I'm not sure that he's the signal. Are you getting me? Mr. Tweh, are you hearing me? Okay, it's not getting me. Let's see here. I'm not sure what happening here. We're giving a few minutes to make his closing to remarks. Other than that, we're going to call it for the day. And that's the beauty. The internet is not doing us a very good favor here this evening. So, folks, let me just give you a few minutes. But in the meantime, let me just take a quick commercial break, and I will be right back. All right, we're gonna leave it here. The internet is not doing us a favor here this evening. Okay, let me see here. Mr. Tweh is back with us here. Mr. Tweh, are you hearing me? Are you hearing me now? Hello, Mr. Tweh. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Oh boy, Are you hearing me?
Yeah, I'm getting you.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
You there? I'm here.
Hello. Check your microphone there. I'm not sure whether your mic is open too. Yeah, I understand. The network is really just crazy. Hello. Okay, let me see.
Exactly. I'm getting you now. So
okay, all right. Yeah, okay,
Hello?
go ahead.
Yeah, I'm here. I say I'm getting you now.
Okay, go ahead. Make your final
Huh?
comment. Yeah, go ahead. I'm hearing you.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah, so I basically just want to say thanks to all of the callers. You know, who has some concerns and some questions well noted. These are a part of the processes of contributing to consolidating our democracy, building, the nation. Your ideas are welcome, especially the colleague who call, volunteering to be a part of, whatever framework document we want to develop in subsequent manifestos. You're welcome. The CPP welcomes you with your ideas. You can email us. Of course, we have our Facebook
Oh boy. Okay,
ideas.
well,
The CPP belong to all of us. Liberia belong to all of us. Push, an agenda that represents the interests of the people of Liberia. So I want to say thank you again, for organizing this talk show. I know that we had to drill through a couple of other issues before coming to the main one. I think it's necessary. Let's come here and proffer our suggestions about matters of statehood, about the way the government is proceeding. If we have suggestions, recommendations.
okay, well, folks, that's how we're going to leave it today. It's just the internet is not being doing others favor. We keep monitoring what is happening in Liberia from Grand Gidet. We hope the authority there will address every situation. And the opposition, they also have their own responsibilities. I know this morning, here in Costa, I took on, and I think it was just unfair. That's part of the lack of leadership that has been exhibited from time to time. Let me see here, Tweh, you really want to close it up here, but it's not working to put all Grenadians in a basket of deplorable. That was just ridiculous, and I think those sort of behaviors should stop. There are other people that are residents in Grenada, and that's the same political device that has been ongoing. So all of these things here, they have some sort of implications until these political institutions and those that are heading these political institutions they got to be mature. They got to be adults if they want to really get involved into politics. And that even goes to Yaka Koloba. He exhibited disorderly conduct as well, but he was never called out. However, that should not be the justification. That should not be the payback to stop another citizen, to stop a sitting lawmaker from entering a cadre. But until these political institutions and these individuals who serving or who posting themselves as alternative, they must also address to this issue. But when you begin to blindside take up one side and leave the other side, then that is unfair. And I don't think Grenadians should allow themselves to be used as a springboard for other people political greed. It is ridiculous. They need to stop that. It's a country. It's part of Liberia. So when all of the countries and other people start talking, okay, don't come to this other country, do come to this. So then where are we going? Are we going to be like Mogadishu to Somalia? I don't think that's where we want to go. I want to leave it here this evening. Unfortunately, our guest, the network is not really doing him a favor. And so it will be very difficult to make a closing remarks at this time. Hopefully, in the future, we will do everything possible to do that. And that's I listened to comments this morning. I mean, everybody is something. Costa took the airwave this morning and to insult the entire group of people and saying that because their vote is insignificant. That's just stupid, and they need to stop that. And there were some other Grenadians who stood against whatever leadership, whether it was the county leadership or whoever was involved in that political plot. So you must be able to get sense that you, in as much it was bad, you also have people who stood against it and who were there fighting for you or for a CPP or whatever the people. But to just go and put everybody in the basket of deplorable that it was Grenadians, there are other people from Sino, Maryland, all over their residents from other different counties. So white people can't even take up their good time to address issue when they are here. This is a sort of irresponsible attitudes of political leaders from time to time that we have had in that country, and they are still there. But because we Liberia, we drown ourselves into stupidity. So things that are always negative, that's what they like. So everybody used to the cussing, because when people cussing, you have a cheering squad, you have the Zion Grove Baptist Church, you have the Methodist Baptist Church, and everybody cheering. Men and women, everybody acting crazy. So we are in a crazy country. We will continue seeing this. So maybe this will be it's just the beginning. We don't even know how the presidential election going to look like until people can learn to be responsible and understand that politics is not a child game. If you're wearing diaper, don't join into politics, because there are rough edges involved and there are consequences involved. I see Yeke to be one of the brave opposition ever. Even though he needs to put himself, he needs to conduct himself as an adult, but he's a brave guy. When there's anything, Yeke stays there to the end game. Until he can refine his talking tool, I think that would be good for him. Now, other people who run away from events, he's take the courage to go campaign for people. So with that other part, we can give it to him, even though his talking tool is ridiculous. His way of doing things is another thing that people can look at. But he seems to be the brave person. Now the other one that sit down other places and just throw the kitchen sink and the red meat out there. But there was other Grenadians who stood there today and said no. In fact, I was supposed to have, we will still bring them here, both by the CPP leadership here. Let me see it. Let me see if I can get their names here set. The both CPP, the ruling party, all of them, they agree to join us here today, but the internet is just not doing us good. And they promised to come here and we'll try to see here. Okay, the CPP here is one Mr. George Ya, who is the chair of the CPP. All right, these are all Grenadians, and you have the CDC President Mr. Boyd Belly. All of those people agree to have show out here. You have Mr. Eric City for CPP. This is the guy who challenged, and he was speaking on camera today. So what the heck he's coming from that he's going to just go and insult everybody because it happens in Grand Jide? That's just been stupid. Whatever people who did that, those are the people we should go after, and that they should be held responsible, and not just sit down here somewhere in a tight room or whatever, and then you want to insult an entire group of people. That's not right. That's not a good leadership. If Grand Jida does not have a vote, then don't go there. Then why you want to produce a candidate if it is not relevant to the electoral process? How can you people, all people that are there, that are arguing your point, that are talking for you, and then you sit down here in America, you sit down somewhere in Delaware, and then you want to insult everybody? Is that that's how you can lead people? So you are not even, the group, they are not even conducting themselves as an alternative to Liberia. Let's assume CDC is doing it the right way, even though they have some ridiculous policies. Their leader makes some stupid comment as well. But do you have to do what they are doing if you want to be the alternative? Why you can't prove yourself differently? Why you can't prove yourself much better and make an argument? The people acting crazy, you two acting silly. So where's the difference? Probably we just need to give Liberia to Jeff Bezos of Amazon, and then everybody just go and be a slave. That's what they want because of lack of wisdom, lack of knowledge. Everybody's self-centered. They are so greedy. They're all fighting for power. What we're going to be back here, and we're going to say as it is. I'm going to get to that audio. That we'll find a time to talk about it at a specific time. I never wanted to inject it while Mr. Tweh was guest playing already here. So, folks, we're going to leave it as it is. On the 19th, we're going to have a big musical concert. Friday, John the Liberal Progressive tomorrow. He's going to be on. Saturday, we're going to have Roberto Go is a gospel artist. And on Sunday, the big concert is slated for the 9th fundraiser. 20 Liberian artists, USA, Liberia, and Europe. They're going to be live on this network. We're going to have a prelude to that concept. They're going to be right here, and we're gonna talk it. And that's why it happened this morning. We decided to reach to everybody. We don't just jump to make judgment. We called the superintendent, and he was here. Whatever he says, if it is true or not, that's a different ball game. But that's how it is. You got to call people, those that are involved, and we reach out to stakeholders. And there are prominent Grangidians coming out to say no. Yes, in as much we agree with the insult by this lawmaker, but what happens today is not a justification for it to happen. And you have people who pretend to be advocates, who are leaders for political institutions or pressure group. They're sitting there acting stupid and causing everybody. That's nonsense. They need to stop that. You want to advocate, go on the ground. Martin Luther King, then they were involved in the struggle. Nelson Mandela, then they were involved in the struggle. As long as you want to challenge government, it's everywhere. Yeah, in the U.S., everywhere. There's nowhere on planet Earth that you think you're just going to walk free, scar-free. You have to be there with the people. How are you going to affect change when you are not even there? And there are others there who putting their lives on the line, and you still don't get it. So where's the alternative? CDC did it wrong with the same stupidness they did to Helen Johnson Sirleaf. The alligator, the cat is eating your own baby. So tomorrow, the same very people who are all acting all over here, acting a little chihuahua, when the very CPP wins it and they can't get their way, they were all hanging with the very CDC. They all brought what we are into this. So what the heck they want to tell people? They all have to raise the alligator. They were all hanging out with George Weah. They were all hanging out with Helen Johnson Sirleaf. They sold them, they outsourced themselves. They took money. Now they are converted. They are converted and they are Christians or whatever, whoever they are. We know their records. So you're part of the problem. You created a problem. You nurture the problem. You raise the problem. The problem is now full grown. 32 or 52 teeth is in the mouth. No dentist can pull them out again. So before we do that, we have to do it with care and responsibility. I don't like what they did. But you can't take a group of people and just insult everybody that their vote is not significant. And you have other children that there's other guy today, we're doing the live streaming. I guess his arm, talking to somebody, his arm is something. Wow, he was fighting for CPP because he believed in the ideology of CPP. So why can't you take some of these people into consideration? There were the other people that stood the ground too, that were going against what was happening. You think to be a leader, you think that small thing, you just rush to stuff. Even I don't care how tough it is. Leader, you're the last person to speak. But when you're a leader, when you rush to see the ugliness of the bamboo, then the bamboo too will display itself. Everybody in the country, they're just stupid. Men, women, everybody's stupid. And that's why the country going the way it's going. The opposition, no sense of direction. They don't exercise tolerance. Government doing the same thing. So-called advocates, they're doing the same thing. Other than that, embedded with corruption, they take money. They all were hanging up with George Weah and brought George Weah to people, and they were preaching, they were advocating for George Weah to be the president. Now he's president. They didn't get their way. Things falls apart. That's not even the argument of that. But when you decide to take a change, maybe you acted unknowingly or because you wanted certain things to happen your way. It didn't happen. So if you take a change now, if you realize that, okay, what I did so time, it was wrong. This is the direction. Then you need to be mature. You need to be an adult. It is only an adult or grown men and women can be a politician. Everybody throwing the necessary tantrums in the country, and you expect the country. Believe me, even after George Weah presidency, from what I'm saying, it's gonna get worse. It will be uglier than what we are having right now. Yaka Koloba, he has to he needs to put himself together as well. You know, it's a country, regardless of what is happening. If we do not like the system that is there now, in as bad it is, there's a way that we can do it. It seems that we have not even learned a lesson from the 80s or from 1989. We have not learned a lesson. You think ECOWAS or the West African, you think people are just going to invest their time for stupidness and send their children there to go die for people foolishness because of their power greed? All of these people talking together, this whole corruption, this and all of them, they are the same people. You have 4 political parties put together. You have another 11 call themselves Rainbow Coalition. You have 3 there as a governing party. What the heck is that? Or because they want to go behind this building here, a good building, not even finish it. They want to go behind this building that behind me. And they can't even come to a consensus to say, okay, let us come together to be one. Since this party is not doing the right thing, they all want to be just mixing it all, old wine into new bottle all day. Opposition corrupt, government corrupt, advocate corrupt, ordinary citizen, everybody corrupt. Nobody is trusted. Messenger all stealing in the country. In the diaspora, it works. We have million organizations here all torn apart because of dishonesty, because of financial improprieties. You take them, you carry them to Liberia, they add up to the already problem that cannot be resolved. It's a nation. It comes with responsibility. People gotta look. You gotta put your head to use. You gotta persuade the electors. You have to persuade the voters why CDC is not the alternative. But if you want to, if this sort of blame game, okay, these people did it yesterday, nothing happened, we're going to do it today. So is that how we're going to be on for the rest of our life? That's what's going to happen. When you talk, you say Unity Party did it yesterday, so CDC is doing it now. CDC leave tomorrow, AAP or WAP, all of them when they come again, they say, oh yeah, CDC people are doing it yesterday. Nobody talk. Why you want to talk? Everybody giving justifications of their action. So how can we move forward? I wish I had my own way. Liberia put it on eBay and everybody turn to slave. You'll go make people make cassava fine, and that's all about it. Because everybody seems not to be serious. Government not serious, opposition not serious. Everybody cussing. You said that you have foreign missions, people that are supposed to help the country. They are all there. And everybody behaving so irresponsible that. So how do you think these people can even trust you to see the way you're conducting yourself? How can they trust you to even do business? Or are you so vagabond? Just speak big English for nowhere. You go in the dictionary, you can't even find a correct definition of it. Is that what we're going to be on? I hope the superintendent will. I am concerned that it is my county and I have to talk about it. What happens? It was wrong. It is unacceptable. But at the same time, there are people too should be held responsible. And the opposition, they need to conduct themselves as well. You can't have other people that are in a county who are part of you, and you just have someone sitting in an unknown land and to just range insults on everybody as if what happens, it was condoned. You think if everybody in the place there today, do you think they're going to get out? Or don't you think you're going to be like a worse scenario in as much as bad it is? But as a leader, wait and get to the bottom line. Call for investigations. Do your due diligence. And that's what we did. And I'm happy the superintendent came. Do I agree with all of the things that he was saying? Absolutely not. But it is why it is. And that's why we reach out to their local leaders. And hopefully we'll make sure we make a follow-up for them to come here as well. So we will hear from them. But until all of us, we all are responsible of what is happening there. I will be signing all here, but there was a lawmaker that I hosted the other day. They represented District Number 3, I believe, of Sano County, Matthew Zaza. But I'm going to do it on this date. I was just talking with the station manager and somebody else here. You know, we have some lawmakers who are dishonest, who are corrupt, and you have some good ones. I was surprised he called me multiple times yesterday, this morning, and sent his entire pay system, how his paycheck, how it's divided, the US dollar portion, what's going, what's not going, and all of that. It gives a clear indication exactly how much he makes as a salary. We talked about it the other day, and he promised he's going to do that as soon as he get his next pay. I didn't call him back, but out of his commitment, he did this. And I saw the text message that what business does he have to send his bank information, deposit alert from either Lone Star or Cellcom, whatever. Usually when deposit is made, they give you on a light that your money is in your account and all of that. And the whole thing is cataloged, the Liberian dollar version, the US dollar versions, the tax and all of that. And it comes to your net. That's how it is. But everybody is so stupid. We want to curse everybody. Everybody used to the cursing doctrine. So when we start cursing, you are not hear what you're supposed to hear. That's why we take time. We call these people to have a conversation. I don't care whether we disagree with them. You have a conversation. You give them the opportunity. You hold them of their word. But yeah, I've gone to a lot of online school and how they call it, a radio program. Yeah, so everybody trained to cussing. Now, our leaders, everybody cussing. So then, why would we want to complain? Other people not cussing, they're taking the violent role. See how the country is looking. Where is the National Readjustment Commission? What government is doing? But all of the representative lawmakers, other than have their own personal NGO now, the structure that government puts in place to sustain, to develop, and build human capacity, nobody is doing that because everybody turn to NGO. Everybody doing Save the Children or Medicine Sans Frontier. Now, and then the government is completely paralyzed because they want to elevate their own political ambition. Yeah, this is what a man doing. When you saw your senator here bailing role here, you first of all have leaders who can't even go outside of their own comfort zone to go lobby. What kind of people that? You're elite thief man, thief woman, and then every day we turn around, we come to ourselves. Yeah, we raise our own alligator, and the alligator eating our own guts. Let me leave it here this afternoon. We're going to have it here. We're going to keep following this, what is happening. And that all of those that are responsible, I think they must be brought to justice. And whatever that initiated this, I think it must be stopped. It is not good for our country. You cannot sanction people of their views. You can't stop people from going to a particular country because they are not from there. It is wrong. It is unacceptable. We must, on our face, we can do. Any other thing, investigation can follow. People who did that, I strongly believe it was a political ploy. People initiated that, and they need to get to the bottom line. Well, folks, I'm not picking a call right now. That's the end of the evening. We're going to call it here. Another day, we're going to be here. Until then, I'm Alphonso Zean of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. We will keep on this conversation here, and hopefully, like the superintendent promised, we'll make a follow-up. Let's see who the perpetrators are and how, because this is not what you want to go by. Political crisis, tensions, it's just senatorial race. It's looking like this. So imagine 2023. I'll talk to you. Have a pleasant day. Bye-bye.
Have you heard the news? Well, worry no more. Cousins Photo and Video Production has been providing elegant wedding, conventions, and birthday videographing community since 2006. Paying attention to detail and emotion throughout the day, and taking time in editing process to create video. You will want to watch with family members and future generations, shooting quietly and professionally, and without distracting you or the guests. For more information, please contact us at 484-786-3337. That's 484-786-3337. We can also be reached www.cousinphotovideoproduction.com. Please tell Cousin Photo and Video Production that ask for the giant Galway.
Vamos